And we are live on a Monday at 7:10:05. We're live. We're more on time than Italy at the World Cup.
Ooh, that's valid. That's valid. It's valid. The jokes are valid.
Sorry. I mean,
hey,
sorry.
No. There's nothing to be sorry about. There's nothing to be sorry. I appreciate the sympathies put forth there, but let me go ahead and say a couple of things right off the bat. Buffoonery, yes, buffoonery will be happening. Don't you worry. And tomfoolery and mischief and everything else. Number one, the representation does not stop. All right.
Of course.
The representation does not stop ever. This is the 98 Italy kit. It was it's a holy grail kit for me. Luckily found it while I was over in Italy and found an interesting tidbit for those looking for the Diodora kits. Those apparently were part of like a gas station chain giveaway, so they are super plentiful. Should you go to Italy to any of the used shops?
Old? So that would have been 94 and back.
It'd been probably 90.
90. I think 94 was Diodora. I can't remember. I think so. I know 90 was.
Yeah, but you can find those with some ease, shall I say.
I like that you got the 98 one because like that was a World Cup that always sticks with me for everybody other than the U.S. because the U.S. was absolute unmitigated garbage in that tournament.
Yeah.
But Italy in that tournament was a team that I really enjoyed, and Bobo Vieri was just on fire in that tournament.
And that's a player that we are sorely missing now. And before we get any further, I need to go ahead because I think it's very important for people in our business. It's typically the hot take express on shows like this they just throw stuff out and they can be extraordinarily wrong and they never get called. They get called on it and they never own up to it and they try to dance their way out of it.
Absolutely, just steamroll past it and it's like pay no attention to the comment behind the curtain.
Disintegration's the greatest album ever.
Yes,
it's a very good album. The greatest,
That's your hot take of the night.
There you go.
But in the last World Cup cycle, which is so crazy that we've been on the air for that long, I said Italy should recover from this very quickly. And the U.S. has been set back by a decade, right? And I could not have been more wrong with that because the U.S. really went, and I've got to give them credit. They stuck with the plan. They said, here's our plan to move forward. This is what we're going to do. And we're going to, incorporate more youth. We're going to, the league, MLS really saying, hey, look, we're going to focus on youth. We're going to make youth an initiative for this league. We're going to make the financial restrictions more beneficial to those who are trying to incorporate youth talent in. We're going to make good deals and send, people overseas at a faster clip. And Italy said, no, we're just doing status quo, baby. And so what we saw in the Euros was the last gasp of an extraordinary generation that was extraordinarily mismanaged by Ventura, right? Ventura was just a disaster as a manager. However, there are a few things that have been showcased over the years that have kind of been pushed under and shoved down. One is that the federation asked Roberto Baggio, hey, tell us what you think needs to be done to fix things. And he wrote like a 900-page report. It never saw the light of day. Apparently it is next to the Ark of the Covenant, handled by top men. Who? top men, and never saw the light of day. You had managers come forward and say, hey, look, we need to be featuring more youth. We need to be putting incorporating youth into Serie A lineups. I think I saw a stat that said there was like one team that was getting any sort of regular starting time in Serie A. And by regular starting time, they mean like a minute, 2 minutes. That's it. It doesn't happen. They believe very much in in sort of the internship program where, hey, you're going to go down to Serie B, Serie C. You're going to get your lumps down there. You're going to learn the game the old school way. And then when you're in your 20s, maybe we'll call you up to the big boys club. Well, the problem is, one is terrible business for Serie A, because the players that you're putting out there, by the time they go to do their transfer, they're already pushing close to 30, and that's not beneficial to you at all. That's why, also in the Champions League, you're not seeing Italian sides go extraordinarily far anymore, because these other teams are younger and faster and more intense physically. And I think what you saw in the Euros, I don't think you can have just an outlier moment in a tournament. You can have a miracle game, you can have miracle moments, but that Euro run, to me, is 100% the reason why Mancini should absolutely be kept. Absolutely be kept. Because if he was able to get this squad to a major trophy, my God in heaven, what a coaching job that is. But it showed yet again, and I'm going to compare two games. I'm going to compare Italy versus North Macedonia, which is hilarious, and United States, Panama. And we're going to get more into Panama later on with picks of the week. But you saw an intensity, an absolute maniacal pursuit of victory. Hold on, we have a pitch invader. Here we go. You say hello to everyone?
Hi.
Hi.
Greetings, pitch invader.
They say greetings. I know you can't hear them because it's on my headphones. But
I hold him because I have really sensitive.
Yeah, very sensitive ears. So good job. Okay, you go eat your dinner.
Bye-bye.
All right. All right. All right. Yeah, dinner. Go. Andiamo. Hey.
Tomato?
Hey. Tavolo. Go. Night. Love you. All right. You saw a team that in the right situation could beat the U.S. in Panama. And the United States said, no, we're not going out like that. They came out because we talked about how there could be intensity issues. There could be knock-on effect from the Mexico game. And the United States said, nope, no, we're pouring nitrous into this tank, and if we blow the engine, we blow the engine, baby. But it's 8 cylinders all around. And so they put the pedal down, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do. And meanwhile, with Italy, you saw against Northern Ireland, you saw against Bulgaria, you saw against North Macedonia, sleepwalk. And it was mighty Casey in a soccer form. First pitch goes by, not my style. Next pitch goes by, maybe next one. And then the third one comes by, big swing and a miss. And you didn't see any intensity out of this Italy squad in the attacking third until, stoppage time?
Yeah.
There was build-up. They had great build-up, but it was... you saw this whiff kick. Oh, we're going to it's like almost like warm the keeper up with this nice little scoot to an open goal. Completely missed. Nope, we're not doing that. We're going to kick it right to the keeper instead. We're going to play players that out of roles that they're not used to. We're going to wait on subs. Now that is on Mancini. Those two last things are on Mancini, yep. and he does not escape any sort of any sort of heat with this. But he made the exact same mistake that Marcello Lippi made in 2010. He did not rotate the squad. He brought in the Euro squad back. You saw Donnarumma, who was clearly out of shape, clearly out of form. And there's prime Donnarumma would not have been beaten by that North Macedonian kick. I'm sorry. It was a great kick, but prime Donnarumma's not doing that. He's way out of form. He's way out of shape. And Italy is now not going to the World Cup as part of that. You have players, you had injuries, of course. But I'm sorry. It's North Macedonia. It's Bulgaria. It's Northern Ireland. And if you were a fan of any of those teams, then salute. You did your job. But Italy sleepwalking through these games, 2 tournaments in a row, has led to us sitting at home on the couch trying to upgrade our TV package to ensure that we can watch this tournament. And as a Milan supporter, I'm sorry. I'm here for all the slander of Donnarumma, and I'm here for all the slander of his agent and everyone else who, because the infamous "I do what Mino tells me." Mino Raiola led this kid astray, led him down to PSG to a contested goalkeeper situation where one of the best in the world. Do not slander my Costa Rican son, and you do. And what did you expect was going to happen? And so, what you saw in the Euros was a prime Donnarumma, a Milan team that had to rely on him to get draws and close games, a team that demanded of him some level of physical investment, and he goes instead in one of the most toxic, by all reports, locker rooms and sports in PSG, situation where it's just been absolutely absurd from day one. And now what? And yes, Coco, Money Mino's going to do what Money Mino does, and that's get his commission checks. And he took advantage of a young kid a relationship that he's had with this kid since he was 13, 14 years old, and used it to his advantage. But I'm sorry, Donnarumma's old enough now where he can make his own decisions on things. And it's something where Italy has dinosaurs, and you still have a guy in Allegri at Juve who is a big fan of this internship system. Well, I'm sorry. You have to develop young talent. You have to put them forward and throw them into the fire at an early age, because it's not like the old days in the 90s where the billionaires still could spin like drunken sailors and give some Italian kid all the time in the world, because you had prime Ronaldo up top being striker for you, or you had this great, unbelievable, just machine kicking out these legendary center backs one after the other. That machine's dead. And then you said, okay, well, we're going to be like Spain now, and we're going to produce these great technical midfielders. You produce technical midfielders. They're not as good as the ones that came out of Spain. They're not in a position where they are Spain could run out with no strikers and still put up 2 or 3 goals. Italy tried doing something very similar. They tried having Immobile drop into the midfield, be almost like a false 9, distribute the ball, and that's not what he does. He's a tip-of-the-spear striker that takes advantage on counters and can break quickly and receive the ball in dangerous positions and put the ball on frame. When you take him out of that, he doesn't work right. That's on Mancini. And if you talk to any Lazio supporter, they're going to say, hey, we don't want him even going anymore because it kills his confidence every time he goes. I mean, Scavaccia's there. Put Scavaccia in. I don't understand why we're still trotting out these busted lineups when you know they're going to sleepwalk.
We have a take that we can address if you'd like.
Go for it.
A quote, I'd have taken Balotelli.
Yeah. And I get why they didn't. They didn't want to do it because they were afraid of chemistry issues.
Yeah.
Because the chemistry was so good during Euros. But I'm sorry, I want a pit viper in that position. I want someone who is crazy, who's absolutely certifiably nuts in a one-game situation to say, look, man, you go in and your job is to put the ball in the back of the net as many damn times as you can. I don't need you to drop back. I don't need you to get involved. We will get the ball to you. Don't worry. And your job is to be absolutely psycho and beat center backs half to death and put the ball in the back of the net. And Balotelli,
do you know who had that take?
Give it to me.
Mariano Puolo. also known as Roberto Mancini's mom.
Yeah.
That's
Mama
what
A.
she said when asked about it.
Hey. That's going to be some interesting dinners. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
She's going to be making him carbonara like, you should have taken Mario.
All of the yelling while she's furiously working on this fantastic dish from the kitchen.
Huh?
Mancini's sitting at the table. He's sitting at the dining room table, and he's getting an earful from his
yeah.
mom.
Si mama. Oy, si mama.
Oh, and Nick, I found the
Basta,
numbers,
mama, basta.
from Carlo Gaganese, the numbers that you were talking about, Italian teenagers in Serie A this season. Milan 0, Napoli 0, Inter 8 minutes, Juve 1 minute, Atalanta 12 games 3 starts, Roma 9 games no starts, Lazio 0, Fiorentina 1 minute, Sassuolo 2 minutes, Verona 4 apps with 2 starts, Torino 0, Bologna 24 minutes, Empoli 0.
And I think to kind of aggravate that is Italy is a lot like England and Mexico in that young players don't look to leave at young ages. They want to stay at the clubs they start at. They want to break through at those clubs. They're not looking to go to other places. So it's not even a situation like the U.S. where, Gio Reyna is a teenager playing for the national team and hugely impactful. He left the U.S. at a young age and went somewhere where he was going to play the Bundesliga, where they will play teenagers if they are ready.
Look at Marco Verratti. Yep. He went. He said, "Man, I'm getting out of here."
And
I'm
best player by far.
By
8 chances
far.
created in that game. Wasn't even close.
By far. And yes, I am on time today because normally I am the cook in the house, and normally I do work a 9 to 5, and so I have to work my 9 to 5 and do everything right there, so I can keep doing this stuff and not have to get like 2 or 3 extra jobs. And then I have to get dinner ready and plated, and out the door. Now I skipped dinner tonight. I already had it made, so I got it warmed up and everything. But I skipped eating to be here on time, Signore Vegara. But yes, and yes, Emilio, injuries absolutely played a role in this. If Chiesa is in this game, yeah, maybe it is.
It's better, but
maybe it's better. But I'm sorry, you drew with Bulgaria and Northern Ireland. There are 4 stars on that crest for Italy. 4, okay, and you get there by having some steel in your spine, and it happened after 2010, and it happened again now after the Euros. After we won the Euros, Nick, you said it. I was like, man, I'm worried because they're going to go to sleep just like they did before. And no, they're not. This is a great. I'm going to sleep. And it's. There has to be wake up calls. And this is leadership, not just from Mancini. This is not leadership. This is on the field leadership, right? Where, if Gattuso was still playing, you think they're sleepwalking? No, they're not. Because Gattuso would take the fork out, getting red cards, stabbing his own players on the field. Maldini would not have allowed that. I'm sorry. Nesto, I don't think would have allowed that. Cannavaro, sure as hell would not have allowed that. And Cannavaro would have been like Peyton Manning, telling him, no, just you're not even coming on the field. No, walk off. Fabio, we're not ready for the sub. No, off the field. And so it's you were in a situation, a kitchen sink situation, because you fell asleep, and Italy has to own that. And for those of us who are diehard supporters, we talked a ton of mad trash after the Euros, and we had probably one of the best international summers that I can remember. Winning the Euro, then they got the 100 meters, they got the relay, they got
Eurovision.
We got the Taekwondo, we got karate, we got race walking, all of golds, and then we won the Great British Bake Off. So, I'm just. But it's easy for me as a 41-year-old man to sit here and be like, okay, Jesus, because I've watched them win a World Cup. And when your favorite team of all wins a World Cup, it gives you a feeling like I launched off the couch in 06, almost hit my head on the ceiling, collapsed on the floor in one hit and like started bawling, right? And with the Euros, right? It was absolutely just shaking on the couch, right? Everybody's like, dude, you got to calm down. I will not calm down, you know? But it's I've seen success and I've seen, some failure, but for people like, for people who haven't seen, that were not aware enough in 2006 to know what was going on, you've seen the Euros and you've seen 2 World Cup misses, right? That's pretty streaky. And so it's hard to understand that this used to be a giant and they're not anymore. And it's not the FIGC, the federation body, that's going. Yeah, and yes, Bern, there is a tax rule that allows foreign talent to come back into Serie A and make a wall of cash, which is great for Serie A, terrible for Italians. And what concerns me the most is this, that after 02 and the robbery of 02, I'm sorry. It was a pure out and out robbery. that was an all-time legendary team that was better than the 06 team, top to bottom. And it just, hold on. Hi, Pumpkin. Yes. All right. Go. All right. Give me 1 minute.
I love.
All right,
If you don't know the story about 2002 World Cup, Planet Football did an article about this last summer. They did a forensic analysis of Byron Moreno's refereeing in the Italy-South Korea game. If you had VAR in that, you would have probably had at least 5 or 6 different calls change.
Mm-hmm.
It was that bad.
Right. Magical red card out of nowhere.
I mean, there were so many things in
2
that
goals
one
that were ruled offside that were clearly on.
So
now,
it was round of 16.
Yeah.
He awarded South Korea a penalty in the first half, disallowed a possible golden goal by Tomasi for offside, showed a second yellow to Totti for an arguable dive in South Korea's penalty area in extra time while the referee was 40 yards away from the play. So he's Ecuadorian. Sorry, Monteflo. But while he was seeking election to the Quito City Council after this in September, he was suspended for 20 matches by Ecuadorian FA for how bad he did at the World Cup. He also made timekeeping errors in a match he did between Barcelona and Liga de Quito in Ecuador. That's what got him the 20 matches. Sorry. Mm-hmm. FIFA investigated him due to all of it. FIFA didn't put anything up directly for suspending him. He comes back 3 games in May of 2003. He's suspended again in Ecuador because he sent 3 players off from Deportivo Quito in a 1-1 draw against Cuenca. He retired the following month, blaming low performance marks for his retirement. Gets better. Then in September of 2010, after he's long retired as a referee, dude gets arrested at JFK International Airport in New York City, trying to smuggle in 6 kilograms of heroin hidden in his underwear.
Whoopsie.
That's an extra 13 pounds of weight.
Pleaded guilty in January of 2011, faced a possible 10 years in prison. He was sentenced to 2.5. He was released from prison and returned to Ecuador, and I have no further updates.
Right.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Good ref.
And look, that was nuclear Brazil in that tournament. I don't know if Italy is beating nuclear Brazil. I just know that it would have been probably one of the best finals of all time.
So that was round of 16. They would have gone into the quarterfinal. Where would they have went? They would have played Spain in the quarterfinal if they'd beat South Korea. Mm-hmm. And then they would have played Germany, which would have been a hell of a semifinal.
Yeah. And and it would have, I mean, that team was insanely loaded. Totti. Oh, man. Prime.
Love that guy.
Prime.
One of my all-time favorites.
Oh God, yeah, no, Furkan, I agree. Like I said, it's nuclear Brazil in 2002. It's one of the best sides ever fielded by any team on earth ever. So it would have been prime Catanaccio versus the God Squad.
I mean, Brazil 2002, for those who don't know, that's the one that overlapped with Ronaldo, the phenomenon Ronaldo.
Yes.
Back after his issues in 98 in the final.
Mm-hmm.
He's back and he is pretty much at his best.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not quite as explosive. He's 25. He's still amazing at this point.
Right.
And you have 22-year-old Ronaldinho breaking in and emerging in this tournament. You have Roberto Carlos at 29.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Denilson at 24. You've got Rivaldo at 30, one of the best players in the world at this point.
That's sick.
Gilberto Silva. Cafu was 31, still killing it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Kaká was 20 on this squad. Juninho from Middlesbrough, when he was at probably his prime at 29. Just an incredible team. Guys like Kleberson, who everybody thought was going to be a massive star. Great player at this time for Brazil. Didn't even make it really down the road.
No.
Just an amazing team. One of the best that we've ever seen.
Ever. It was like FIFA Ultimate Team with those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, and the way that they played was even like, it was absurd to watch them play, because every time the ball went to someone, it was like for those who are old enough to remember, like the Live Aid concerts where you had like 6 of the greatest bands on earth and they keep handing off, right? Yeah. Or actually even better, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where they had they did for the George Harrison tribute.
Yeah.
And
Petty and Prince comes in from the side, Jeff Lynne, all that. Yeah.
No, you end with Prince, John.
Right.
I'm sorry, Jeff Lynne, great. No, you end with Prince.
That's what I'm
saying.
Then
Prince comes on and no. Then Prince comes on and lights the stage on fire.
Yes. He threw his guitar up, and the guitar is not
ever
seen
come down.
landing.
I was going to say, did the guitar ever come down?
No, it just went, I've done enough. And the guitar goes up and it's like,
one of the greatest live performances of all time in anything, period. Forget it. And so much talent on that stage. None of it mattered. They were all nobodies when Prince shows up.
Right.
It was insane.
And that was the 0-2 Brazil squad. Like, that was just like, okay, all right, fair enough.
Pretty much.
But Italy was completely robbed in that. And afterward, they started passing these insane draconian rules of foreign talent, who could come in, who could not. And they tried banning the South Korean player who scored.
Yes,
and they really tried to lock down the foreigners out of Serie A and said, nope, it needs to be an Italian league, Great. And, the billionaires got involved and they kind of put the kibosh on it. But you had, I'm terrified that they're going to go back to that. But I do believe that there needs to be a program at the league level to start featuring youth talent. And this shows the divide. Remember, when the show first started, when I was talking about Serie A, I said, it's not one country. It's not like the United States, right? As crazy divided as we are, it's not one country like the United States. It is a collection of cities that were kind of like together when it became the Republic. And there's still a tremendous amount of heat, especially in Northern Italy, because Juve has such strong ties to the national team that people in Florence are kind of like middle fingers up, in Venice, middle fingers up. But then, you'll, even with this divide, you're still not, it's, when Italy goes on a run, there's nothing like it. Everyone's completely bought in, but after that spike, it goes right back down to, nope, they're too Juve. We can't have, no, I'm not interested because it's too Juve. So from a business perspective, they need to start featuring youth. if they want to qualify for a World Cup again, because I'm sorry, that's not a given anymore, because in this one, UEFA rolled out the red carpet for them to go.
Yep.
And no, they blew it. So
I mean, I think you have to go back and look at this. So after the Euros, in their first 3 qualifiers that were played in March, win at home over Northern Ireland, win at Bulgaria, and win at Lithuania. So your max points, 9 points through 3 games.
Yep.
You go to the Euros. You come back in September. Draw at home with Bulgaria. Draw on the road in Switzerland. Win at home over Lithuania. That gets you to round 6. Round 8 is where, or sorry, round 9 is where they pop back in. Draw with Switzerland in November at home.
God.
Draw on the road at Northern Ireland. They ended up missing out by 2 points. Switzerland won the group. They got the automatic spot.
Yep. 1
win of any size in here. You beat Switzerland. Forget it. Over. That's a you go. You advance. You don't have to deal with this. The biggest thing that is the question mark is after the Euros, it's 1 goal, it's no goals, 5 against Lithuania, throw that out. It's 1, it's 0. It's 2 goals in 4 games against teams not Lithuania.
Yep.
It's just it's crazy. It's crazy that this is how this went after what we saw in the summer. You thought, okay, this is where it's going to turn, because the other crazy thing about it, last knockout round game for Italy at a World Cup was the final in 2006. The last knockout game was the final in 2006. Group stage 2010, group stage 2014, 18, 22, not there. For all of the talent that they've had since 2010 and beyond, to not have a knockout game at a World Cup and to not make 2, it's insane.
No, again, 2006 was the end of the golden generation, right? And again, 02, I agree with what has been said here. I don't think anybody was beating that 02 squad, but I think if anyone could have given that team a fight, Italy's defensive capabilities would have put them there. They could have at least given them a hell of a fight. The 06 team, that was a team on a mission from God, and you can't tell me any damn differently. And so 2010, they ran out the same old group, the guys that, danced with the girl that brung you, and they ran out of South Africa. They had a great moment in the Euros, and then after that, it was, with Brazil, nope, nothing happening there, and then missed the World Cup. And then you have these Euros where they win, and we're all like, cooking with gas, baby, let's go. And then the reality set in. Oh God, if we go by the pattern, this is a little dangerous. And it's because, again, you don't have players who are young enough to have that ferocity 24/7. They're not there. They can't expend that kind of energy. And they can't, when this group goes cold, they all go cold. And so
it starts to get in your head too when you have multiple games like this. And that's where I thought the Euros might change that mentality. I mean, it's what the fear was with the U.S., right? Was that you're going to get into the spot and it's, bad memories. Here we go. You're going to get on the field and be like, this is like Trinidad. Now I'm afraid.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. And look, it's a young group for the U.S. I think that's where Greg Berhalter excels, is in how he prepares a team.
Yep.
How he gets them motivated, how he gets them ready to play. You can question tactics, you can question roster selection, but preparing his individual players to play, I think that's where he excels. And it's one area where it feels like Italy is lacking. And maybe it's some of this is bad luck, first off. I mean, that happens. There's luck in the game. We all know that. There's times where it's not all because this is garbage. This is garbage.
No. But there is. So, we had when I was in Iraq, we had a colonel who would come in with these crazy corporate sayings, and he came in one time, and I have to do the arms the right way to showcase like how this guy would do it. He goes,
"Oh boy,"
he goes, "Gentlemen, sometimes you're gonna think that luck's not on your side. Well, understand this: luck exists at the confluence of skill and opportunity." And yeah,
that's a good poster. I like it.
Yeah, we're all like,
in this game, we know that it happens sometimes. Usually, it doesn't keep you out of multiple World Cups. Like, things happen. I mean, it's kind of bad luck when Panama goes in 2018 on a goal that didn't even cross the line.
Right.
You know, like things will happen, but it doesn't explain this fully.
No.
Here's an interesting thing. So you're looking right now, if Italy qualifies for 26, it's a 12-year gap.
Yep.
There's been 3 nations of similar stature in the world's game that have had that kind of a gap. It doesn't happen very often. England had it 70 to 82. So they won in 66 at home. They did well in Mexico in 70, but they didn't qualify in 74. They didn't qualify in 78. They got there in 82 and had insane expectations, and they were okay. I mean, they were good. They weren't like a contender. The Netherlands, from going to back-to-back finals in 74 and 78, they didn't qualify again until 90. Now, they had somewhat of a similar situation in that they won the Euros in 88, but then they qualified in 90. And that generation kind of carried them forward, but it was a young generation that all emerged at the same time. It was Van Basten. It was Hullet. You know, it was Coleman. It was De Boer. Like, it was kind of that whole era coming together. So they got it right. And then they qualified in 90. They qualified in 94. And they've pretty much been around ever since, except for 18. France had it too. And France was in 86. They were losing semifinalists in 82. They were losing semifinalists in 86. They didn't qualify again until they hosted it in 98. They didn't have to qualify. And they went in, they won the thing. It's at home. That kind of helps. But again, it's that next generation.
Right.
What's scary about this is you go through those. France, 98, Thierry Henry emerging, Zinedine Zidane emerging, Emmanuel Petit. I mean, we can go through all of those guys, and Barthez. So many youngish guys emerging all together. The Dutch team we talked about. That English team in 82, I mean, you're talking about, who was in that? Kevin Keegan was in that team. You had a bunch of young, talented guys kind of coming together at the same time. For Italy in 4 years, where's that young generation that's going to change this coming from?
Nowhere to be
That's
found.
the fear, because those others had a new generation take over and then right the ship. I don't know who's coming for Italy.
Yeah, and you have Luca Moro, who we've talked about a couple of times on here, as a player you need to look out for. Languishing in Serie C. He shouldn't be in Serie C. He should be in Serie A, even if it's for a mid-table team, getting minutes and learning how to break down better teams and learning sort of the dirty tricks on how to beat defenders one-on-one. And as long as we keep these dinosaurs in charge, we're going to keep getting this.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah. And there's nothing coming out right now that is from a player development perspective. There's nothing coming out from a team perspective that anyone is going to. And here's the fun part. When they were talking about Mancini leaving, they said, hey, maybe Fabio Cannavaro can take over.
I heard that.
He only managed in China. What? Like, you're going to put him in charge? Like, I don't care that he was the captain. I don't care that he's the dude who hoisted the 06 trophy. The man has only coached in China on a team that was loaded with cash. I don't care. And then somebody said, well, what about Gattuso? Okay, great. Now we're getting in the right direction.
Yeah.
But
even that, it's like, It's this thing where, okay, I can completely understand that they just lost. They don't have a plan right now. They expected to be
no
playing
plan.
tomorrow. They expected to be playing Portugal tomorrow. I get that. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to, when this happens, you've got to come out and say, this is unacceptable. This is not going to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to bring this person and that person and this person together.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to come up with a plan. We're going to institute it so the next generation qualifies for 2026.
Yep.
You have to get out in front of that. And now it's kind of like, maybe Mancini will stay. Maybe. If not Cannavaro, you can't. You just can't. Like now, it sounds like the next big thing is going to be how many of these guys announce their international retirement, which is about to happen.
Oh my God!
I mean,
oh,
Insigne,
yeah.
Chiellini, Bonucci.
Bonucci. Word on the
Maybe?
street is that Bonucci is staying. I wish
He's going to stick around.
Word on the street is that he's sticking around.
Okay.
Chiellini is absolutely like tomorrow is supposed to be his last game.
Yeah, I think Insigne, that's been talked about that might be his last game.
I think it should be.
Yeah.
I think it should be.
I mean, but you got to plan for 4 years. You got to plan for qualifying to start in at least 2. Like you got to think ahead now.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I could look. Okay, one, we completely agree on this.
Yeah.
But the only way this happens is if all of these players who are north of 30 get together and say, "Look, for the good of the pro, we've missed 2 World Cups, boys. It's on us, and we can't. We're obviously not playing in the next one. We need to burn the boats and retire.
Have a friendly, see them off. That's fine.
That's
fine. You want to say goodbye. You want to celebrate the Euro win. However, that's fine.
Yep.
Pick a time. Do it. You're gonna have the game with Argentina this summer.
Yeah.
Cool. Maybe that can be it for these guys. That's
Sure.
cool. Give them a friendly after that in June.
Mm-hmm.
Done. But yeah, you've got to, and that is the biggest thing that the U.S. did right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many elements to what the U.S. has done that's going to get talked about, and people are still going to complain. But that year of 2018, the World Cup year they didn't qualify for, they don't have a manager. Mm-hmm. Dave Sarachan is the caretaker, and he played a bunch of kids.
Yep.
They played a bunch of good games. They played a bunch of good opponents, and they were friendlies. But he played a bunch of kids, and he opened that door for them to that national team, and so it didn't feel as big and as scary and as crazy. You've got to start doing that immediately now. Mm-hmm. Get through this thing in the summer with Argentina. That's cool. That can close a chapter for this group,
right?
And move on.
And I think a lot of this, if Serie A is not going to do it, and I think Will brings up a good question. Next time Italy makes the World Cup, what percentage of the teams playing outside of Italy? I don't think that's going to change. I think Italian culturally, they stay home.
It's Mexico. It's England. They all have that. Germany to a lesser extent, but now a lot of the top Germans stay there, but not all. Mm-hmm. It's changing. But England, I mean, think of how many mega English stars over the years, when they're in their primes, have played overseas.
Yep. Right.
Beckham. Before that, it was crazy that Keegan left. It's right. This doesn't happen. Mexico, you compare Mexico to the U.S. in this regard, it's just very, very small. It's cultural, and it's not. Look, 2006. I mean, what was that team based around? Just about all Serie A, right?
Yes, yeah.
Not entirely, but most.
Almost, I think. Actually, hold on. Let me
Could
think.
have been entirely, actually.
The starters, all the starters were Serie A. All the starters were Serie A. I think we may have had 1 or 2 on the reserves that were...
No, entire squad,
okay.
Serie A.
Okay.
Entire squad.
And, and again, there's something to rally around. Italy plays best when they feel like they're rallying for the motherland.
Right.
And, for 2006, it was shame. And around the Euros, it was COVID. And so it... for World Cup qualifying, it was like, yeah, baby, we're back. Yeah, great. And, we see what happens with that. So Italy did get old fast. It got old super fast. And there was one Argentine player on there. Yeah, that was a unique situation because he was one of the first that
Cameronese.
Yeah, Cameronese, Mauro Cameronese. He was one of the first dual nationals that really got a lot of that didn't get the full stick of, you're a dual national. Because for a long time, they made it a point not to call in dual nationals.
Yeah.
And they put all these restrictions on themselves, right? But, Germany had Das Reboot. And,
Yes.
We saw what happened with that. Even England went and changed things up. And, they were at, and really, if there's anyone who should be heated right now, it should be England. It should be throwing stuff out the window. We couldn't get it done against this lot. But with this group, I think you have to mine in Italy. You have to get these guys. They have to pick a direction they want to go in. You have, some old managers saying, okay, we need to follow the Germans and go more counter pressing. And we need to, some say, well, we need to stick with what we're doing and not change anything and just, find new ways to motivate the players. Italy has no plan. And I think it's completely not off the table where you end up with a side like Mexico, where you have players who largely stay home in the domestic league. You have one or two who will go out, and every year, the tried and true fans will say, this is our year, only to fall apart when it counts the most. And that's us right now. And we can't escape that. And so we have to do radical change. And one thing Italy is not known for, which is why people pay insane amounts of money on airfare and hotels and trains and whatnot, is because Italy doesn't change. We leave the ruins up for God knows how long. We build around them. We don't green light the, new construction projects because you'll hit a 1,500-year-old fresco. Nothing changes. And that's the problem, is that they need to put someone like Pirlo, who's not doing anything right now,
Yep.
in charge at the FIGC and say, look, your job is to develop youth. And we need to find a system that exists outside of the Serie A clubs, where if Mancini can call up somebody from Padova, it doesn't matter. The kid's ready. We're calling him up. We're going to call up a kid from Arezzo. We're going to call up a kid from Arezzo now. Bolzano. We're going to call up a kid from Catania, from Syracuse. It doesn't matter. We're finding the best players regardless of where they play, and we're going to bring them in, and we're going to start making things happen. And I cannot believe that I'm saying this, but almost like the U.S. program was for a long time, where it existed almost outside of MLS development until now, where MLS academies are doing more direct feeding. You're almost going to have to do something like that. You're going to have to find a way to develop talent outside of the clubs, because if the clubs are only going to find cheap Eastern European talent to bring in and play, or cheaper Argentine talent or Ecuadorian talent or African talent to come in and play, I'm sorry, you have to. Your national team will not develop.
You follow Mexico, honestly. Mexico went down a route with this where that's why they won Youth World Cups. Is they did work outside the clubs to a degree. They took some of what Marcelo Bielsa had created for Atlas as a scouting system and incorporated it into the national team program, and really created the backbone of teams that won Youth World Cups. Those players haven't progressed enough. I think Italy, the scale of everything is different. And if guys do progress through youth national team programs, they should get bigger opportunities. We'll see if that happens, but they have to look at that, because, that is the flip side of this, where if the clubs aren't really investing in developing their own talent and playing them through, they have talent in their academies. Bring them into national team camps at the youth side. take that youth national team and like, hey, you're not going to play this guy. He's playing for your Primavera B team. Yeah. He's going to come with us on a tour of South America. Let's go. You do stuff like that to bridge the gap. And then the clubs are like, hey, okay, you've improved our player. This is great. Cool. We're going to play him now. Good.
Right.
And you do that. And that's the way to work it. I mean, the U.S. had to do it because MLS teams were so young. They didn't have the money to invest in the academy side yet. So you had the existing, like, youth club structure here in the U.S. You found some different ways to do identification. I still think the U.S. has a big area to grow in that outside of the MLS academies. And you were able to create something that bridged the gap. And Italy, there's a gap because those kids there's no priority for them to play. Mexico also created that priority within their league structure. I don't think that's going to happen in Italy because in Mexico, the federation and the league, the clubs, go hand in hand. They're both run each other. Italy, you don't have that. You're not going to go sit Agnelli down and say, yeah, you're going to have to play X number of U21 players these minutes in games. You're going to be docked points.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
I think in Juve has said we want to make an Italian core again, but one of the first guys they said they were talking about bringing in was Jorginho, and for Italians it's like, yeah, he's Brazilian, and yes, Vern, you're 100% right that one thing that Vern says, one thing that always strikes me is that Italy has never really integrated its immigrants. 100% correct, because there's two hurdles you have to jump. One is being Italian to begin with. And then two, what city are you from? Right? Because even within Italy, the divide between cities is so dramatic and will 100% dictate how you were treated. An example of this is that I was in Rome with my ex-wife, and we were near Spanish Steps at a store called Expensive, and I think I probably told you guys this one before. Walked in and it had this unbelievably sick green motorcycle jacket, and I'm like, ah! And I went, and it was like calfskin leather. Oh my god, it was amazing. And I put it on and and there's one guy in the shop, and the guy's like, oh yes, so tell me, what brings you here to Italy, and we're like talking and whatever, and somehow my last name gets dropped. He goes, oh, what is your family from? I said, oh, Sicily. Oh. And then whoosh, he goes to the back, and then two more guys come out because they were convinced I was going to rob them.
Yeah.
And that's what, you have issues with Sicilians and the Northern Italians. You have issues from Naples and Northern Italy. Yeah. You have, and then not just that, but you have the Mario Balotellis of the world who come in and are like, well, why aren't you playing in Africa? Why are you trying to play for us? You're not Italian, right? And so you have a lot of old school racism that still exists, even outside of from the not just it goes down to bloodline, not just how you look. And when Bourdain was in Sicily and he was asking them, he goes, okay, what's the difference between a Sicilian and an Italian? And the Sicilian said, well, there's the Austrian influence in the north. And everybody at the table was like, ooh, right? And people from the north are probably like, yeah, it's great. Like, what are you talking about? But down in Sicily, they're like, ooh, and it's, it's, you really have this huge divide that exists, and it's hard for a foreigner to come in and say, hey, look, I'm proud to be from this spot. Because if you have like when I go to Syracuse and I'm like, yeah, I'm waiting on my appointment with the Italian consulate, we're going to get paperwork done. They're like, hell yeah, let's go. Siciliano, Syracuse. And you go and do it in the north, they're like, but why? Like it's this huge divide. Like it's almost like this club, like, oh wait, the Northerners get it. Like they're like, yeah, we know who we are. Like, what the hell? No, 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 we don't want you here. And so it's a problem. And if you are if you are Argentine and you can get pulled over at a young age to play in Italy and loaned down to one of these Serie B, Serie C clubs, you get used to that Italian lifestyle, and man, you don't want to leave it. Like and yeah, Coco, yeah, it's the northern Italians. So yeah, I'd like to know which cities they're from, but it's there is sort of this with Florence, it's sort of like Boston. Like Boston's the hub, right? The educational brain of America is what they like to believe. Well, that's Florence, right? And then you have New York with you have the New York, which is sort of this melting pot of everyone. That's Milan. And so then you have Rome, which is its own unique. There's nothing really like Rome, but it's and then you have Venice. And
so there's not just this. There's localism attached to each and every single spot. It's not just, I'm happy to be an Italian. Then it gets to that deeper dive into the second and the third levels. It's not just Italian, capital I in the broad sense. It has to do with that hyper localism that's attached.
Yeah, and I'll use Bolzano as an example, right? And so Coco says, yeah, they say basically they live in basically Austria. Bolzano is a prime example of that. Sud Tirol is a great example. They speak German in Bolzano. Like you go places and it's like German signs everywhere. And they consider themselves culturally Austrian, and so there was even this talk of Austria issuing passports to people in Südtirol because they are so culturally aligned with each other. After World War II, Sicily wanted to be part of America because they felt so alienated from the North, and the dividing line is really Rome. Rome, everything south. One of the most racist comments I've ever heard in my life was everything south of Rome is Africa, and they said this to me, and I'm like, well, my family's Sicilian, so keep that same energy. No, it's good, it's okay. I embrace it. Give it to me, and so that's if in post World War II, and we talked about this very early on, and during Reconstruction. You had Gianni Agnelli made a deal with the Americans to keep the communists out because if the communists came in, fiat was done for, and so Gianni Agnelli did not want the work of Senatore Agnelli to vanish under communist rule, and so he made a deal with the Americans that if you guys invest in fiat, I will build factories all over and we'll put Italy back to work. And they called the mushroom factories. They popped up everywhere, all over northern Italy. When you went south, they were still using donkeys and carts. It was like Reconstruction after the Civil War. And so when you have that divide, and you are in Bari, or you are in Syracuse, Giardia, Catania, Palermo, and you hear about what do you mean they have factories with childcare up north? What the hell? I'm on the way. And so you had a brain drain from the south. And then in the north, they were like, we don't want the Sicilians here. No. Tell the Southerners to go back where they came from. Those diseased peasants need to go back to the south. And if you watch, if you have HBO Max, the Agnelli documentary lays this out in crystal clear terms. The Maradona documentary lays it out in crystal clear terms when Napoli went north to Juve and they started, making fun of the fact that Naples had cholera, a cholera outbreak. It was you poor, stupid peasants in the South don't know what Italy is. We do. And that's why there's still a party, Lega Nord, which is a hyper right-wing party in Italy. They really want to shut Italy off from like south of Rome. Say, nope, you're on your own. You want to be the Kingdom of Naples? Go have fun and be the Kingdom of Naples again. And you leave us alone. And so it's, you have a major cultural problem here with investment, but they still show up as my cousins in Sicily like to point out. They still show up every August in Sicily. and they spend their hard-earned euros down there. They love going down there. They don't want to live there. And so, they have this idea that it's this crime riddled, atrophied state down there that they can just take advantage of, and they don't invest and they don't put any infrastructure down. And it's an amazing, and that's right. Some Italians think that South Italy is part of North Africa, and if you go through, and I in the video I'm making, I'm going to showcase this in Sicily. If you walk around, you'll see looks like a man with black curly hair and a black beard, and a beautiful woman with flowers all in her hair. And the guy with the beard has flowers as well. And you're like, what the hell is this? It's the story of the Arab man and the Sicilian woman. So when the Arabs took over Sicily, one of the Arab soldiers fell in love with a beautiful Sicilian woman, and they lived together. And I mean, kids may be listening, but we all know what's going on. Yeah. And so, they fell deeply in love. And then one day the Arab man comes home and says, we're going to, we're heading back. And she's like, well, what do you mean we're heading back? Like, you live here with me. And he's like, yeah, no, I got like a wife and kids back home, honey. It's been great, but I got to go. She's like, but you said we were going to be together. We're going to be in love. Oh, baby, that's pillow talk. Come on. And so she did what, I think any good Sicilian woman in that situation would do. She cut his head off, scooped his brains out, and used his head for a flower pot, and set it out in the front porch.
It's a typical response.
Yeah. And so that's the legend of the Arab man and the Sicilian woman. And it's a thing down there, man. And so, that's in the Godfather too, it's, or the Godfather one is, Sicilian women are more dangerous than shotguns. Yeah. Pretty much. But it's, you have a significant amount. Like if you see some of my cousins down there and you go and you see video from like Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, it's like, yeah, got it. Like, it's clear to see that lineage, but so there's this divide that exists where even people in Italy don't feel Italian enough. And you will never be Italian enough, no matter how much you try, which is why, if I were to go and live in Italy, I would choose to live in Sicily, where I have felt accepted. And, the mission of dual citizenship has been completely embraced. Do I feel welcome in Veneto in Padova? Sure. Yes. But at the same time, there's divides, and it's hard to conquer those differences. And Italy, if they want to achieve anything economically, if athletically, look, it was not your typical stereotypical looking Italian guy that won 100 meters in the Olympics, and there are people like, oh, he's not. He did his interview in pristine Italian, not even accented. So have fun with that. Mm-hmm. And it's happening more and more. The gates are sort of opening a little bit, but there's still a lot of work to do. And groups like Liga Nord, I'm not trying to get political, but it's something that's happening. I'm sorry, when somebody says we want to cut half the country off, and my family's involved in that, it's a personal thing for me.
For sure.
So, we have to make sure that groups like Liga Nord and Salvini can't get in charge and execute that stuff. And, you see Italy now taking in, now they're taking in again migrants from North Africa, from Syria and so forth. You have, or that's from Syria, excuse me, from Sudan and so forth. And you have people taking in migrants from the Ukraine, from Ukraine again. And we need to do that. Like Italy needs to. I say we. It's what needs to happen, right? And that's why Italy, as far as they've come, still has a ton of work to do. And there's a difference between people go to Italy and they go Rome, Florence, Venice, and say, "Great, saw Italy." Right. No. When you go and you see the trains in Sicily and they're the same trains from like 1952, you talk to me about the same Italy. when you go and see Frecciarossa up in the north, these bullet trains that are doing 150 miles an hour. Yeah, it's completely different. It's completely different, and those economic divides. Like even Insigne, I'll give a prime example. Insigne, there are different languages in Sicily and in Naples, than there are in the rest of Italy, right? And you'll have hard accents in different places, but in Sicily, Sicilian is almost like a slang. Like you have to, like, if you can know really good Italian and go down there and have no damn clue what's going on when the Sicilians start chatting, because and there was a time when this I want to say was it the Saracens were occupying, and the Sicilians they learned Italian, so they were like, okay, yeah, we're okay. And what the Sicilians did is they made them they started communicating just in Sicilian, and anyone who couldn't pronounce the Sicilian word for chickpea correctly was executed, like summary execution. If you can't pronounce it correctly, you're getting killed on the dot. And so, there's that ferocity of culture that, and how it has worked for so long, that people have held on to that. And Insigne, learning, with speaking, growing up in Naples, all throughout his life, was made fun of on the national team because they could barely understand what the hell he was saying because of, one, his thick accent, and two, the fact that it was like he's speaking like people in Naples speak. Yeah. So there's a lot of ground to cover here, and I know this is probably way more than anybody out there was hoping to get into. But if you really want to know the issues with Italy, it's far more than player X didn't perform, player Y didn't perform, the manager made bad decisions. How we get this right is going to be a decentralization of funds, where teams like Atalanta cannot go to Syracuse, where my cousin's son plays, and they live in Syracuse, and they play at the Atalanta Academy. He's an unbelievable player, but he shouldn't, in my opinion, should not be playing for Atalanta. He needs to be playing for Syracuse. We need to get Syracuse up, and strengthen Syracuse. At worst, go to Catania, help these Sicilian clubs be strong again by keeping the players in Sicily to start with. But that's going to take funds.
Yeah, you got to have the clubs that they want to stay at.
Right, exactly. And so it's a matter of time before they kind of wake up and figure that out. Yeah. But when you're in Florence, Sicily's a 12-hour train ride away. That's might as well be on Mars. So, and yes, it is. It's a lot like the Southern accent in the U.S. being looked down on as unintelligent. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. Like you say, you're from Sicily. They assume you're a criminal. They assume you're an idiot. You're labor, right? So you're unintelligent labor. And
I've met people who have talked to me differently once they know where I'm from.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there are courses, and I know because a former CEO who I will not name took lessons to lessen his Southern accent because he could not walk into boardrooms without being shot down because
it's one of the first things that people will say. Like when I was going to coaches conventions, and they would say like, "Oh, where are you from?" I'd say where I'm from. They'd be like, "Oh, well, you don't sound like you're from Atlanta. You don't sound like you're from Georgia."
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't work at it. It just kind of happened with mine over time. I lived in Kentucky for a little while, and it's almost like Kentucky has its own accent, which is a whole different thing. But it almost neutralized me a little bit in terms of accent. But yeah, it's real. Like people will seriously think I'm dumb when I say where I'm from.
Right.
And it's like, what? No. We do have to add somebody to the show. I believe we will accept this migrant into the show. What's up, Jared?
I'm just enjoying whatever the hell is the hell I'm walking into.
Well, Jared, we talked about it this morning.
It was heavy and in a good way. I'm here for it all.
No, we talked about it this morning that the Italian conversation would definitely last at least an hour.
Yeah.
You were like, "Oh, I'll be there in the second hour of the show." I was like, we'll still be talking about Italy. It's all good.
But here's the thing, man. And man, we're getting into safe harbor hours too. This is cool because we can loosen up.
Oh, jeez.
Jared.
I mean, because Nick, get in that side of it, because it's more than just the game itself. Get into the side of it that, America ain't the only problem with its regional issues with the way people are treated. No country is.
Countries everywhere
Every country has stuff going on with biases and regional biases. I mean, hell, I was born and raised here. I don't have an accent that I know of unless I just throw one on because it's fun.
You don't really have an accent.
But I swear, I use enough words that, if I go somewhere where it's not the South, and if I slip up and refer to something as being a far piece, or
you'll have some phrases that you throw in. It's not accent for you. You'll drop some phrases that I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yep.
It's this combination of having half of your family from the Middle Tennessee mountains.
Yeah.
And the other half being from just across Lake Pontchartrain.
Yeah, you got a whole different Southern experience than me.
Yep.
I did. And that's the beauty of it, though. That's the bullshit. That's the beauty of it. It's a different experience, because you go somewhere else in the country, you don't see people from Kansas or Missouri. They're gonna have a different experience. You think the person in Central Kansas is going to have the same experience as someone in Southern Kansas? They're going to have little nuances and the differences. Quit criticizing everybody for their little nuances and celebrate them. It's fun.
I say y'all all the time.
Absolutely.
Just to get people. I say it all the damn time.
The damn slogan of the show was y'all.
Yeah, I say it all the time.
Right.
We blended Argentine, Spanish, and Southern to make a slogan for this damn show.
This happens, man. It does. We do have some soccer stuff we can get into a little bit. We have some stuff worldwide to get into. Last one from you, Nick.
But this is, and we can move on from here. But the thing is that you're going to listen to a lot if you're like us and you're a soccer head. You're probably listening to a lot of stuff from major outlets, and you're probably listening to some other random podcasts that are going to throw in, player, coach. On this, I want to try to make sure that everyone has a better idea of the challenges that Italy's facing and why it's not one thing's going to fix it. This is a systemic issue, top to bottom, that is, and it's not as easy as turning on a spigot or flipping a switch. It's going to be something. It's going to take a lot of work to get out of the cellar that we're in at the moment, and I don't think there's any quick way of doing it. And no matter what, though, I could have come on the show wearing anything today. And one thing I always try to do is make sure that I bring a level of authenticity to what I do. I'm still wearing this. I'm still wearing it. I'm going to keep wearing it even during the damn World Cup. I'm still going to be wearing this, and it's who I am. It's what I grew up with. It's the I think I've owned one piece of U.S. soccer merch in my life, and it was a shirt that wasn't being sold during the was it the last World Cup at Fido. I want to say my cousin bought it for me as like a birthday gift. Yeah. So it's what people grow up with. And so no, nonstop forever wearing this. I can miss every World Cup from here on. I'm still wearing it. So it doesn't matter, but I do try to make sure that everyone sees that there's a completely different level of issues here. There's a sub-basement of problems that Italy has to solve outside of just better tactics, better player call-up strategies, and who's managing the team and when, and who our shirt sponsor is going to be.
We have more lower division Argentine soccer that's kicking off. If you want to watch San Martin and Deportivo Maipú, you can watch TIC, the Primera Nacional.
There we go.
Had a injury time winner in the last game, so you never know what you're going to get. We're fortunately not getting to see Deportivo Morón. We're not getting to see Morón. I wish we were. That team needs to make an American tour. Mm-hmm. We do have some news out of Spain, though. Joan Laporta is talking about a lot of things. things. Joan Laporta has done a radio interview with RAC1 in Spain, and he has admitted that the club either cannot or will not accept the current demands of Kylian Mbappe or Erling Haaland. Okay, I'm not shocked, but okay. He also said that he was asked about Mo Salah and Robert Lewandowski. He said top players want to join Barca. That's clear. I can't say if we're in talks with Lewandowski and Salah or not, or into the club. They'll tell me that I'm creating problems in the negotiations. Okay, that's true. That's good. The kind of stuff you'd be talking to Joan Laporta about on the radio, right? These are big deals with Barcelona.
I feel like there's a but then that's going to be coming.
John, why do you always do the spoiler thing?
No, I just
play along to say, that sounds like typical topics.
Well, yes, it sounds like something that a typical topic in Q&A would be for an interview.
Come on, you've been doing this for a while. Just come on. Because Joan Laporta then gave his thoughts about Will Smith and Chris Rock. I mean,
oh my God.
Okay. I mean, why? I don't know, but he did. Madrid, I don't think, has a statement about Will Smith and Chris Rock yet.
No.
Has Scotland determined which side they're on yet, Jared?
And I sent you the meme earlier.
I'm asking if there's been an update.
I don't think there has been. The meme, for those that have lived, was basically like Celtic and Rangers fans are sitting there waiting for one of them to flinch and have an opinion just so they can be contrarian about it on the other side. By the way, I think they play that's their first game for each other coming back from the international break. Yay.
Somebody's going to have to take a stand in Scotland on this worldwide controversy.
Dude, it's going to be like Kelty Hearts or something, or I don't know. And like Falkirk is going to take a stand and be wrong. I don't know. It's going to be something like that. Like some small club's going to make a statement or do something weird, or like Loch Ness FC will like start getting really petty and start tweeting out memes. I don't know.
Yeah. No, the Will Smith thing was real. It was real.
Yeah, it was real.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was real.
Open hand.
But the paper beats rock joke is very good.
That is a good one. I did like that one.
Very good.
No, the tone of his voice the second time he told Chris Rock what he could not do.
If you did not hear me the first time, I'm going to reiterate it.
It's not like that at all. It is the way he said what he said. It's not the words, it's the tone.
Absolutely.
Where I've heard that tone in places before, usually a bottle got smashed right afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard that tone before, and they were in a public place, and he still got up and smacked the crap out of him.
I appreciate that the Discord is arguing this. This is going to be what tears the Discord apart. It just reminds me of
it's so
working
funny.
at events for projects back in the day. We were working one of I think it was SmackDown was filming it back at Phillips Arena.
Yeah,
and it was Teddy Long having a fake wedding in the ring, and right before they do the vows, he has a fake heart attack, and some 6-year-old in front of me, as we're standing at the top watching this, turns around and is like, he had a heart attack. There's no way you could fake that. And I'm just staring at this kid. I don't want to shatter the illusion for him, so I'm just going to let him ride this out. I don't want to be the jerk who ruins this for this kid. I'll let someone else carry that burden.
As a heart attack player.
You don't want to ruin the illusion of Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or Teddy Long having a heart attack. You don't want to be that guy.
I don't want to be the one who introduces. You know what? If I had a chance, in the future, if it happened when smartphones were prominent, because this is 2007, the iPhone had just come out, I would have sent him a video of Shawn Michaels and Triple H and Razor Ramon, R.I.P., all meeting and breaking kayfabe together in the ring, and just here you go, kid. Nothing's real. Just enjoy it. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy it, but unless it's Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart going at it, it's probably not real.
I went to a TNA wrestling show in Nashville a long time ago when they were doing the weekly pay-per-view. So it was the last month they were doing it. went because it was Raven and Sabu, like for one of the first times ever, which was very
hell
cool.
yes.
Yeah, it was.
That's some
That was
1996 shit.
that
Barely
opened
makes
the
it
show.
count.
This was like 2004. That opened the show, which was amazing. And then AJ Styles and Kid Cash had an unannounced match at the end. But I got there early because we got into town early. We had to pick up our tickets. We'd ordered them online. So we go to the box office, and the wrestlers were arriving. It was at the Fairgrounds Arena, which is, I mean, like a barn on the fairgrounds, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And we're standing in line to get our tickets, waiting for the people to get there with the actual tickets. This was 2004. And one of the, I guess, hardcore regulars, a older, I'm going to assume local Tennessee woman, who obviously was in the old days of wrestling and all of this, that she knew all of it. The wrestlers are arriving, like they're driving up, they're parking their car, they're walking around to their entrance, and she is screaming the most horrible, vile things at the heels, and like saying the most wonderful things that you would expect like a Southern grandma to say to the faces.
Oh.
And the funniest one was this manager Goldilocks. She had just turned heel, and she was a singer. Like, she wasn't really in wrestling all that long, but she gets out of her car, and she's dressed nice, like getting out of her car, walking into the arena, and she's just looking normal. People are yelling at her, like just like you would yell at a celebrity, and she's waving. This woman starts just unloading on her, and I don't think Goldilocks was ready for like old Southern wrestling fans reacting to heels. She looked mortified and like took off running into the room. It was
Just
so
called
fun.
her everything but a child of God and a sewing machine.
She might have said that too. She had a very thick accent that I couldn't always understand everything she said.
Well, you were in Nashville too. I mean,
Oh yeah,
again, like she was not living. That woman was not from Franklin. That woman was probably from like Auburntown or somewhere in the vicinity. Like, she was out past Murfreesboro.
Yes.
I don't know. It was a little scary. I thought she might actually shank somebody. I was a little concerned.
Pointing a finger at the woman who was born Moon Shadow. No lie, that is her real name.
That is prior to Opry Mills being built.
Goldilocks had a very interesting career in of herself.
Goldilocks encountered some woman from McMinnville who was not putting up with her shit.
That is accurate.
This woman did not like AJ Styles' Georgia hat either. She got a little upset about that.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Yeah,
very much.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
maybe that person's mom, maybe.
I can
grandma.
understand people in Tennessee not liking AJ Styles because he's basically what happens if a Waffle House became a transformer and turned into a person.
What?
I don't know. Just let it ride. Just let it ride.
AJ Styles is if you took a Waffle House.
No, I heard you. I'm still saying what?
And you took a Waffle House and turned it and gave it the Allspark and turned it into a person.
Oh my
It
God.
would be AJ Styles.
Yeah, I see where he's going. Okay.
No, I knew where he was going, but I still what?
Got it.
How does your brain work, Jared?
Oh my God.
I don't know sometimes, man.
There's concussions involved.
Okay, there we go. Explanation. Yes, that is accurate.
All I'm saying is, there were some odds put out there on who would win in a fight between the two. All I'm saying is that Chris Rock is in incredible shape now, but you can't discount the fact that Will Smith did a ton of training for Ali.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
just saying.
He knows a few things.
This is Brooklyn versus Philly too, isn't it?
Yeah, and Chris Rock lived a touch of South Carolina, so there's a little unpredictability there.
Ooh, yeah. You get fish hooked. I don't know if you've ever fought somebody from the Low Country, man. They fish hook and they,
Never fought anybody from the Low Country. I think I'm going to skip that one.
I try not to.
Rule book, Low Country rule book.
I'm just saying.
I'm skipping those. We got some big games tomorrow that we should probably talk about.
What games do we have to talk about, Jason?
Well, I won't make an Italy joke, but Portugal
you can.
No, it's okay. Portugal is very confident. Cristiano Ronaldo, we will make it to the World Cup, he says.
Okay, have fun. Because let me tell you,
buddy,
the North Macedonian boys ain't playing.
Nick, will you feel better if that happens? I mean, I'm just curious.
No.
Everyone has different answers about that.
No.
North Macedonia takes Portugal down with them.
No, I mean, look.
North Macedonia just puts another trophy on the wall.
I mean, hey, have at it. At this point, I'm like, have at it. If you can get in, get in. I'm not mad at you. Have fun, you know.
So Cristiano Ronaldo was asked if he has any doubts if Portugal will qualify. Quote, "There is no World Cup without Portugal."
That's a lot of big talk for a team that has no stars above their crest.
Yeah, it's true. Talking about North Macedonia, said we were surprised. North Macedonia has surprised in many matches, but I don't think they will surprise us tomorrow. Portugal will play better, and we will make it to the World Cup. We know that if we win, we will go to the World Cup, and if we lose, we are out. We have the responsibility to be positive and win the match. I see everyone well prepared and wanting to be at their best tomorrow. There is no World Cup without Portugal.
Don't sleep. Don't sleep. All I'm saying.
Well, I'm sorry. There's been a World Cup every 4 years since the 1930s, and I ain't seen Portugal in any of them. So,
they've been.
Remember, this is the same country that got absolutely yammed on by Jermaine Jones. So, you know,
they tied that game.
They did because the U.S. couldn't clear and decided not to defend in the 94th minute.
No, because Jurgen Klinsmann's a horrible tactical coach. That was the correct answer.
Yeah, and Ricky, it's a better mentality than Italy. Yes.
Jones.
Yeah, I mean, but come on now. Portugal has won a Euro.
Dempsey scored with his groin.
Not against Portugal. That wasn't against Portugal.
No, North Macedonia. North Macedonia was Craig.
Well, yeah, it was.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
Who did he do that to?
That was a 1-1 game, Jared.
That's a 2-2 game.
Ricky,
Portugal
why do you keep saying better mentality? Look, I've acknowledged that they already have a better mentality. Look, it's like the fight from Friday condensed down to like the last 2 minutes where Craig is North Macedonia and Debo is Italy. And Craig, to skip all the other stuff, and then Craig just picks up the brick and launches it at Debo's head. That's exactly what happened.
Jared, you were right, but you had the order wrong. Dempsey scored after Jones.
Yeah.
Never doubted Texas.
Because Portugal scored to open the game because, God, was it Jeff Cameron or somebody just had it? Yeah, but trying to think who had the bad giveaway. It might have been Jeff Cameron, who tried to clear a ball and cleared it like literally off of his shoelaces. It went 5 feet. Then Nani scores. Jermaine Jones scores one of the best goals you'll ever see from a U.S. player. Dempsey basically bangs the ball in with his groin. And then you get the last second gas for Ronaldo to the middle because,
My thing is this with Portugal. I think Portugal can get it done simply because they have a better finisher than Italy has.
Exactly. It should be that easy.
You
get 30 shots, then you got Ronaldo on the field. You're going to score one.
Right.
I'm sorry. You're going to get one.
And I think North Macedonia, and I think it's really going to come down to North Macedonia doing a stupid foul on Ronaldo, getting a penalty, and I think Portugal gets out 1 or 2-0 and just calls it good.
Yeah, might get into that on picks of the week. The other game in Europe, these are very easy 245s. Winner goes, loser stays home. Poland and Sweden. Sweden had to go to extra time to get here. Poland didn't play because Russia got kicked out of the whole thing. It's in Warsaw, and Poland is a decent favorite. Not a huge favorite, but a decent favorite. Zlatan is back for Sweden.
Hey,
does Zlatan have like 45 minutes of magic left in him?
Yes.
To get to a World Cup, yeah, probably.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking about.
And look, Milan has let him do whatever he wants to do. If hey, look, you need to sit some games out, recover from injury, whatever, have fun. So he has it in him, but if they're in Warsaw, especially with everything that's going on geopolitically at the moment, that Poland team is going to be fired up. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Polish fans, but
they are missing a good number of people.
Polish fans are problematically lit. Like Polish fans will set the stands on fire.
One of them might have to play because they're missing Milik, they're missing Bartosz Salomon, both with injuries. Piatek got an injury against Scotland in a friendly. He's iffy. Mateus Klick is out due to yellow card accumulation. He would have missed the game before if that had actually been played. It wasn't. Sweden lost Martin Olsen in the game against Czech Republic. Zlatan and Kraft come back from suspension, and they're in contention to start. So Zlatan might start in this one.
It depends on what they're going to ask Zlatan to do. I think is where how effective he's going to be.
Yeah.
Because Milan has figured out that in the run of play, if Zlatan is facilitating, that essentially you have to treat him as a whole, as a whole on the field and run around him to go and press for the goal. However, if Italy's all down to, if Milan is down toward their opponent's goal, at that point, do anything you can to get him the damn ball.
Mm-hmm.
If Poland can keep that service from coming to him and try to make him drift back into the midfield, you'll take him out of the game. But look, Poland's lit. I'm not. It's hard for me to put any money against Poland right now. And there was a video I saw one time of like a U8 game. It was like inside like a U8 futsal, and apparently the ultras showed up and started chanting, going nuts. And then they set off flares inside and started throwing toilet paper on the floor. And like the poor kids are like trying to I'm a super helper and like clean up the toilet paper on the floor while these flares are like causing all this smoke to pour down. They have to cancel the game. Like, hey, I'm just saying. But yeah, the networks are praying. Yeah, the networks are absolutely praying for Portugal and Sweden because they have lost their minds now that Italy's out. They're like, please God, U.S., don't do anything stupid and get that 1 point.
They want the stars.
Can I give you the perfect ending for me, the petty person, about Ronaldo? This thing goes to penalties, and Ronaldo is standing there as the fifth taker as he doesn't even get a chance to kick.
That would be...
That would be funny.
That would be...
And then
that's why you never have your best, most important penalty taker go fifth.
No.
Fourth at the latest.
Then you have the elongated tracking shot, the 360 around Ronaldo with him looking down and his hands on his hips and does a couple of these, and they just keep the tracking shots and keep going to multiple cameras as he finally is walking off and he has that uber disgusted look on his face.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our two games in Europe tomorrow. 2:45 kickoffs for those. We get started at 9:45 tomorrow morning with the games that matter in Asia. There's other games. There's 6 games tomorrow from Asia. There's only 2 that really matter to determine who plays Australia in a playoff. United Arab Emirates, if they win, they go to the playoff. They will host South Korea tomorrow. South Korea is already clinched. South Korea is unbeaten in 9 games in qualification. They want to end their campaign unbeaten. UAE has to win to secure it. If they draw and Iraq wins, Iraq goes through. If they both draw, UAE goes through. If UAE has to match what Iraq does, essentially. But Iraq plays Syria, who hasn't won a game in qualifying. So we're getting there, Will. The African second legs are tomorrow afternoon, too. So you've got your 2:45s in Europe. We got you at 9:45. You want 2 screens to keep up with what's going on with Iraq and what's going on with United Arab Emirates. Trying to see if there's anything weird with UAE. They're missing a couple of people. They've got a couple people coming back from suspension, a couple of regular starters who missed the last game, where Iraq beat them, which gave Iraq an opportunity. Iraq, they play Syria in the UAE tomorrow. Neutral site, it's Iraq's home game, but it's in the UAE. I wonder if that gets weird. They have to have UAE drop points. Syria has been eliminated for a long time. They had not won anything. They did win their last game. They beat Lebanon, so they've got 1 win. For Iraq coming into this, they are, let's see, Zidane Iqbal, who got a couple of Champions League appearances for Manchester United in December at the end of the group stage. He's gotten 2 caps off the bench for Iraq. He might start in this one. They're not missing anybody. So they are at full strength. Justin Merrim is projected to start for Iraq tomorrow in this match. That's your early games tomorrow. Okay, so 9:45, you got that. 1 o'clock is when you get into the African second legs. Nigeria, Ghana, scoreless in the first leg. Nigeria hosts the second leg. Senegal, Egypt. Senegal hosts it. They trail 1-0 in the rematch of the AFCON final. Then at 3:30, you've got Algeria, Cameroon. Algeria at home has a 1-0 lead. They got the goal on the road in Cameroon. Cameroon was not very good in AFCON. Algeria should be fine in this, especially with the lead. Morocco and DR Congo 1-1. Morocco hosts the second leg. They're in really good shape to go through. They're 24 in the FIFA rankings. DR Congo 66. Tunisia and Mali is the fifth game in Africa. Tunisia has a 1-0 lead. They host the second leg. They should be in decent shape, although Mali's pretty close to them in the FIFA rankings. They've never been to a World Cup, though. So you got 9:45, 2 games in Asia to pay attention to. 1 o'clock, 2 games in Africa to pay attention to. 2:45, 2 games in Europe to pay attention to. 3:30, 3 games in Africa to pay attention to. Then you get 3 games to pay attention to in South America at 7:30. So after you're good and liquored up all day, because of course you're not going to work tomorrow. We all know that. You're going to get good and liquored up, and 7:30 South American madness with 3 teams with a shot to go to the playoff to probably play New Zealand. We'll find out if it's New Zealand on Wednesday. Peru has the inside track. They control their own destiny, and they're at home. They host Paraguay. Colombia is next in the order of who controls their destiny. They go to Venezuela to face their former manager in Jose Pekerman. Chile is last in the priority list. They need things to go their way ahead of them. They host Uruguay tomorrow. You got to watch all 3 of those, but it's 21 points, it's 20, it's 19. Peru, if they win, they're in. If everybody draws, Peru's in. It's like if Peru matches everybody, they go through. They control it. But if they lose and Colombia wins, then Colombia jumps them, et cetera, et cetera. It gets absolute chaotic. Ricky, you need to take the day off and get liquored up. It's World Cup qualifying last day. Come on.
Eat plenty of
Come on,
carbs.
Ricky.
A lot of carbs.
9:45, your first games that
Also
matter,
hydrate.
and you
Carbs
might
without
be done at
hydrate is
9:45 p.m.
Yes.
Yes,
Come on.
pasta and or chips
no,
and all of it.
Yeah,
and-
get starched up real good now, but make sure you are actually pounding out some water too. Stay hydrated.
Yes.
That's where your biggest problem's going.
Right.
That's where you can really get into trouble with this. And if you need a English League 2 game to wash it all down, sure, go for it. You've got some of those in the middle of the day.
Hey, Coco, yeah, definitely check on your Italian students. Let me know what they have to say about it, because I can tell you down in Sicily, they were infuriated. But my northern relatives were like, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. And then games Wednesday, obviously, CONCACAF. We know what's at stake. We know where that stands. It's pretty cut and dried. Mexico should win at home in their last game and be fine. The U.S. can't lose by 6. I'm not exaggerating. They could lose 5-0 and still go. Let's not have that become an issue. Let's just, handle the game. Whatever happens, happens. I don't care. It shouldn't matter. And Canada's already won. Well, they haven't clinched winning it. They've already clinched going. Costa Rica has clinched at least the playoff. Panama's out. So it's kind of cut and dried in CONCACAF. I like that going into
It's
the
cut
last
and dry, except somebody's going to have to get into a knife fight for 90 minutes. We're just trying to figure out who.
No, I don't think anybody gets into. I don't think there's a knife fight, Jared.
You don't.
There's really not much of a knife fight on tap for anybody.
I like the person who said if you forfeit, it's a 3-0 loss.
I hate that.
Hey,
Stupid.
if it was Italy in that situation, I'd be like, throw
They'd be like, yeah,
the game.
Take it.
Stupid.
Throw it.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Take the 3.
Stupid.
Just don't come out of the locker room, let them do a walkover and go home.
Yep.
Go have a drink.
That's
Yeah,
it.
they'll probably kick you out.
Oh man, we got the time wrong.
Ah.
So sorry.
Yeah, we're doing spritzes in the back, boys. We're not coming
Ha
out.
ha 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 ha. They'll probably kick you out of the tournament. The other spot that is up for grabs is Oceania to get into the playoff with that 4th place team in CONCACAF. That game is on Wednesday. It's on Wednesday at 1:00 Eastern time. Solomon Islands and New Zealand. New Zealand has kind of dominated. Solomon Islands have been pretty good, but they had to fight through a semifinal to get here. 3-2 over Papua New Guinea. So that will determine the end of Wednesday. We will know who's in playoffs. We will know the Asian playoff winner. We won't know that until June. We won't know one spot in Europe because of the Ukraine-Scotland game being pushed back and then the corresponding final in that path. And then the interconfederational playoffs. We'll know a lot at the end of the day Wednesday, but not quite everything yet. And then the draw is Friday, just to add more chaos to everything.
Is true.
The draw is Friday. I don't know what we're doing specifically for it because I don't know my travel plans yet for Atlanta United and DC on the weekend. I think we will have a reaction pod, and John will be helming that. I think that's where we're going to be in this. I don't think we're going to do a watch along because they will probably have 5 different musical performers. Somebody will reenact Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. There'll probably be a furry of some sort there. I mean, it's going to be absurd and stupid. So
Antenna to talk about philosophy or something like that.
Yes, that'll happen. So we'll probably just
like
wait
flies
and
to
see.
wanton boys, we are. They kill us for sport.
Yeah, we'll just see where we
Thanks,
get
Eric.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate you
So,
coming
assuming the slap is done to Jurgen Klinsmann, who's the one who slaps him?
It's the scene in Airplane when the one woman can't calm down.
Yeah.
There's a line, Jim.
Everyone
line.
just lines up.
No, Kyle Beckerman takes out the line and slaps him for leaving him out of the round of 16 game because that was in a long list of bad tactical decisions that Jurgen Klinsmann made. That is right on top of the list for me.
Yeah, can we also have Brad Guzan be there because he pretty much cost Brad Guzan his one chance to be the number one at a World Cup.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Because, man, God bless Tim Howard for what he did for so long. Tim Howard wasn't going to be your. You could not run Tim Howard out as the number one of that World Cup if you had gotten through.
No.
Hell, Tim Howard shouldn't have started in Trinidad. We're going to be real about it.
Yep. Yeah, it's close.
Be real.
It's close, but he always had a problem with those long-range shots, always in his career. All right, anything else on the board before we get into picks of the week? It's pretty much World Cup qualifying this week, then the draw. So much of it comes down to the draw you get. You know, I mean, you look at U.S. past history, and you've had 2006. You had a horrendous draw for the U.S. to be in with the Czech Republic, who was a really good team at that point, and with Italy, who went on to win the thing, and with Ghana, who was a very good team. That was a group of death. 2010 was looked at as an easy group for England. They didn't win the group. The U.S. did. 2014 wasn't an easy group. You got kind of lucky about how the whole cycle played out because it was Ghana in game 1, right? In 2014. And they had the meltdown as the tournament went on about bonuses and getting paid, and they became a very easy out as it went on, so you could pretty much rule them out. You had Germany and you had Portugal, and Portugal wasn't very good in that tournament, the draw with the U.S. notwithstanding. Germany obviously was pretty good. They went on to win the thing. So you got out of that group. But if you get a tough group draw, your path gets really difficult. You get an easy draw, and you start to see then where the knockout matchups fall. Okay, then you can start to say, like, yeah, this is a team that could go to a quarterfinal potentially. Or sometimes you might look at this, and depending on what they get, and if you're in pot 2, which is where it looks like the U.S. will be, barring some crazy set of results that puts them in pot 1, it's a massive difference if you get in with Argentina out of pot 1 versus if you get in with Qatar out of pot 1.
Yes.
Because the host nation is always in pot 1. You get in with Qatar? Okay. Yeah, you got a real shot to get out of your group pretty comfortably if that is the seeded team in the group. But if you get in Argentina, you get Portugal, who if they win, if they get in, they're seeded. I can't remember who all the other pot one teams. France, I mean, pot one's going to be difficult. But if you get Qatar, that's the one everybody's going to want. You never know, and that changes your pathway completely.
I'm excited to see, and Nick, I know you're with me on this. I'm excited to see if France beats France or someone else beats France.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know with the French.
They're either going to be world beaters or they're going to be knife fighting each other in the bus. It's one of the two.
Yeah, I think they're okay right now. I have not heard of any of these issues. It seems like some of the chatter from before has died down. Pogba's got a point to prove right now, so he will have his team decided by that point. So will he be happy or will he not be happy? He'll be in a new place at least.
And let me tell you something. And I mean, guys, verify, what shirt am I wearing right now?
I believe that would be Italy.
Okay, good. So I don't want anyone to be like, oh, it's a homer. Watch out for the U.S. in this tournament. If everything
depends on the draw.
But when I see this squad, I'm getting 0-2 vibes from them. A team that could make a run and be so damn problematic. And teams in Europe in situations like this, where you're talking about, I've been in the Middle East in the October-November timeframe. It still is not the greatest place in the world to be from a temperature standpoint.
A little warm.
Warm, very dry, and if you're not prepared,
it's a dry
for that,
heat, is what you're saying.
The dry ass heat, and it will dry you out very quickly. Don't be shocked if some of the European blue bloods stumble, and because it's not just the heat that will get you, the climate, because it's so damn dry, has a dramatic effect on you as well. I think the U.S., if they're smart, they're going to take these boys, they're going to park them in Phoenix, for the month leading up to the World Cup.
Well, no, you won't be able to do that. That's one thing about.
Way.
No, you can't. It's impossible, Nick, and that's the difficulty of where this World Cup is in the calendar. Because remember, the leagues did not allow FIFA to call people up early like they normally do in a summer World Cup. Normally you get at least 3 weeks for guys. You're going to get 2 weeks.
Yep.
You're going to get 2 weeks. And, you might be able to get a guy a week earlier than that, but it's 2 weeks.
If you're
It's
Spain,
nothing.
You go to the south of Spain. If you're Italy, you're sitting at home. Get your TV package upgraded. If you're the United States, you take them, you put them in the Mojave, you make a deal with the NTC, the National Training Center with the Army, or 29 Palms with the Marine Corps, and you stick them out there as long as you can going into the run-up.
Yep.
And just prep them for it. But the United States and some of your South American teams that maybe aren't as normally, going to be doing some crazy things like they would in the European World Cup, they may make a damn run here. Look at some of these, like South Korea could make a run here. They have
outside of the refereeing controversy in 2002. That's kind of a model to look at because it was a weird World Cup and climate was absolutely difficult for those teams. And you had Turkey make a big run. You had South Korea. They might have gotten a little bit of help. You had
maybe a little bit.
But you had Portugal, and that's another one where you compare for the U.S. 2002, they were not supposed to get out of their group. Mm-hmm. Portugal was a favorite to win the thing, and Portugal wet the bed. Mm-hmm. The U.S. needed help to get out of the last day. They got it, and then they got Mexico in the round of 16, which is a team you weren't afraid of. You knew you could beat. So the draw and then what happens in getting into the knockouts, there is an element that is completely outside of your control. Mm-hmm. If you get the best thing for the U.S. going into this would be obviously to draw Qatar if you're in pot 2 and you get them in pot 1. That's a no-brainer. Everybody wants to be in Qatar's group. Second, for the U.S., I think what you're saying, Nick, the way you make that happen with a training camp is if you are drawn for your first game to be a week in and you almost get an extra week in the tournament, you want to play your first game late.
Right.
So you get that extra time.
Yeah. And when you are doing any physical activity, and I can tell you this, they took us and they parked us in at 29 Palms for about a month before we deployed. but even after spending almost a month at 29 Palms, when you show up, and this is in the middle of the damn Mojave, right? And when you show up in Iraq, the climate is so damn dry that it just sucks the moisture like right out of you. And I mean, you had guys who were dropping out like a week in because they were like, man, we are not ready for this. So, yes, England has the talent to make a run, but I don't know where they would be able to do any sort of prep that would have them ready for that kind of the kind of arid conditions.
They'll do camp in what, the UAE?
I mean, I think it would have to.
That's where they'll meet up. They
And
won't
see,
even meet up in England.
if there was humidity, I would say go to Paris Island, because I'm sure Nick could tell stories about going to Paris, about the existence of Paris Island being actually hell.
And let me tell you
numerous
something.
people told me about it.
Kuwait was humid as hell. It was like the same damn heat with the humidity, and it felt a lot like Paris Island. It was like, oh my god, it's oppressive.
I've had numerous nightmares told to me about people who spent time on Paris Island and just how the suffering that went on.
Brutal. My recruiter really hooked me up on that one. The training window was perfect because almost my entire family lived down in Savannah, so I was like, yeah, I know when not to go. So I don't know about all these other guys, but I know when not to go. But we had when we were at 29 Palms, we had guys who were just downing water, right? Like left and right, just downing water. But what they didn't realize is they were flushing their system. And those of us who were drinking like soda and Gatorade and mixing it with the water, we were A-okay. But if you are, okay, so 4Card says Qatar is humid. Let me tell you something. The Kuwait heat was bonkers because you had the combination, like 510 temperatures with the humidity. It was just bonkers. So, hey, I will never forgive the U.S. Soccer for playing that game in Minnesota, but I can tell you this. There are very few teams in world competition that are capable of playing in almost any condition on earth quite like the United States is, because they can play in Phoenix, they can play in Los Angeles, they can play in Florida, New York. You can experience so many different temperatures and climate conditions. The United States, if they play this right and prepare themselves correctly, and if you are a fan of the U.S. men's national team, you could be having something very special happening here.
And this,
Possibly.
so this is
quarterfinal run. I think is in the cards. If you
This depends on the draw.
The right group. The group.
It so depends on the draw and things falling your way.
This goes back to Jason, your question this morning. That was posited on the Twitch pitch this morning about what would be the American, if you had a national stadium in America, which you can't because of the size. It just depends on what you want to do. What you want to do with climate, because to your point, America's so diverse with its climate. You can play in pretty much any condition you want at just about any time of year. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is pick. Okay, we want this, so let's go to that stadium. To your point, it's a very unique place. It's almost dangerously diverse. Like, you change temperatures quickly enough, it's not necessarily safe.
Hey, I would play. Laugh all you want. I would put it in Memphis. Because during the summer,
please put it at that stadium at University of Memphis.
The Liberty Bowl.
Liberty Bowl.
Look, because
the smashing of guitars, please.
It is oppressively hot in the summer, and during the winter, it is that terrible wet cold. I mean, terrible wet cold. You can't layer for it. It cuts through everything. And yes, Katie, Russia can play in varied climates too because of drugs. Yes, that is accurate.
Yes, there's that.
It's true.
Okay, a couple of things to clean up the Twitch pitch before we get into picks of the week. What I am seeing in typical weather in Qatar in November, December, temperatures range between 24 and 30 degrees Celsius. So that is what in Fahrenheit?
Double and add 30.
double and add 30, so 90 degrees at the top end. Humidity between 66 and 71%. It sounds like.
Let me those English boys are gonna be hating life.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. World Cup draw. So Burns says, didn't the U.S. struggle to beat Qatar in the Gold Cup? Yes, but they would struggle more to beat Belgium, Brazil, France, Argentina, England, and Spain. That's your other teams that are probably going to be in pot one. I'll take Qatar. Even though they're at home, I'll take Qatar. If that's who I'm picking from, yeah, I'll deal with Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
It's pot one. I mean, it's going to be rough, whatever it is. Qatar is the weakest team of pot one. It's a massive drop off. So yeah, that's who I want. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they will put the hosts in the opening game. In the past, going further back, it used to be the holders played in the opener. That was pretty consistent. I think that shifted. And I don't know what they're doing here, if it is the hosts in the first game or if it is the holders in the first game. Mm-hmm. Argentina in 90 losing to Cameroon is one of those historic games. France in 2002 losing to Senegal is another one of those historic games. So we'll see about that. But yeah, pot one right now, it looks like Belgium, Brazil, France, Argentina, England, Spain. Portugal would go into pot one if they win and they get in, and Qatar would be team 8 in pot one. Now, they are doing it a little bit different. Remember, in the past, they would kind of lump teams from the same region into the same pots, and they draw it that way. It's purely by rankings now, but I don't 100% know if, for example, the question came up about Mexico. If they're in pot 3, can you be drawn with them? I don't think so. I think you bump them over to the next group if they would get drawn into the U.S. group. But I'm not 100% sure of that. I think they have kept that separation for teams from the same confederation. But they are changing the process. And, this is a World Cup that's going to be played in November, December in a country that is the size of Marietta and shouldn't be hosting it anyway. So who knows what they're going to
do. And I, as someone whose team is not going in the World Cup, I would not want us to get in because of an expanded format, because it just means we'd probably go out in the opening round. And I'd rather not make the damn tournament if we're just going to go out in the opening round anyway.
Yeah, well, it starts to expand next time around. This is the last one with the current format. Last winners do not get in automatically anymore, DM Tim. They used to up until maybe a couple of World Cups ago. And they eliminated that. Hosts get in automatically. The holders, the defending champs, do not get in automatically. So, of course, Burn, yeah, you want weak teams. I mean, if I can cherry pick my draw, I'm going to take the weakest team from each pot for sure. But if I get a chance, yeah, I'd rather have Qatar and then other manageable games. I feel like that'll give the U.S. the best shot. We'll see. Belgium has a great ranking. If I'm looking at Brazil, if I'm looking at France, if I'm looking at Argentina, if I'm looking at Spain, England, and Portugal, I might take Belgium as my second team that I'd rather see the most out of that group. We'll see what happens.
It's gonna be interesting.
They're the best. They're in the best pot for a reason. They're all good, except for Qatar because they bought the tournament.
Yes.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Oh, what? Nah, crazy.
Weird. That's not weird. All right. So we'll be talking about that all week. We have picks of the week to talk about.
Oh, God.
And we have picks of the week to make. So Twitch Pitch, you are looking ahead to Sunday. You only get one day to pick from. So that's your one spoiler that you get going into our results from picks of the week. Deep breath. All right. Tuesday, we had HBCL and ES Setif. Everybody except for Jarrett, because he didn't even make picks this time around. He had such a great week the week before. He didn't even make picks.
Well, no, by the time I started to do it, I realized it was so late. I was like, I'm just going to sit this week out. There's no point doing it.
You're walking on like snow and ice? Like, what the heck?
Whatever.
I chose to keep my money for the next week.
No, whatever. You lost. You came in last because you lost them all. Setif, everybody.
He's just mad because he didn't win last week. It's okay, guys.
Everybody
just let him brush it off.
You didn't even pick. Shut up. Setif. Everybody picked Setif except for Jarrett because he didn't even pick anybody, so he lost automatically. We all got it wrong. HBCL won.
Wow.
Wednesday, Portland.
Join
Timbers
me in the pit of
U23.
despair.
Shut up, Jarrett. You didn't make any picks. Portland Timbers
Drooling
U23
into the pillow
hosting
of
Contra Costa U.S. Open Cup. Nick and John picked the 90-minute draw. Twitch Pitch and I picked Contra Costa. Portland Timbers U23 got it. So we're all minus 200.
Sweet.
Thursday, Uruguay hosting Peru. I went on a limb and picked Peru. I was wrong. John in the Twitch Pitch picked a draw. Wrong. Nick picked Uruguay. Got the win. Minus 154. So that brought him to minus 35 for the week. Friday, Ghana, Nigeria. John and I picked Ghana to win. Nick in the Twitch Pitch picked Nigeria to win. It was a draw. So everybody's at minus 400 except for Nick at minus 135. Saturday, Charlotte and Cincinnati. I picked a draw. Nope. Nick in the Twitch Pitch picked Cincinnati. Nope. John picked Charlotte at minus 118. That brought him back to minus 215 for the week.
Awesome.
Nick is at minus 235. The Twitch Pitch and I minus 500.
Oh, what a disaster.
Sunday, USA Panama. Nick picked Panama.
Yeah.
I repeat, Nick picked Panama. It didn't go well. Nick finished at minus 335 for the week. Everybody else, except for Jarrett, because he didn't make picks, picked the U.S. to win. The U.S. was minus 222, so it was not a lucrative one.
No.
So the Twitch Pitch and I finished at minus 355. John finished at minus 60. Nick finished at minus 335. Now the prop bet, which comes into play this time. Because remember, there's a new rule this season. The new rule is if everybody finishes under zero, nobody wins.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
However,
Oh.
because why did you make that voice, John? What does that even? I don't even know the reference.
However.
Hi,
Why is the bit
It
there?
was
Like,
that is a borderline Savannah. He's
why?
somewhere between Savannah and Charleston
That
and
has
Chatham
nothing to
County
do with-
accent.
Okay,
Chatham
then
County.
he lucked into it because Charleston got a red card, which meant that the prop bet changed from where it was at halftime because the prop bet was shots for Atlanta United 2 in 2 games. It was not looking like it was going to be very many after game 1.
Oh.
Game 2, okay, halftime, maybe you could see something. Second half, Atlanta United 2 with a ton of shots against 10-man Charleston. 29 for the 2 games. John picked 26, closest without going over. So by getting the prop bet, he
Plus
went over
side.
0,
Plus
and he
side.
finished at 40. And that's your winner.
Plus side.
Yeah. Mhm.
Sometimes
Congratulations,
you go
John.
through
You
a
didn't
script.
suck the least.
Sometimes you go through a script and you don't know how it's going to end. You're sitting there and thinking that plot twist is going to be there, and it ends up being a complete and total swerve in a different direction. That's what we ended up with last week, and you can thank the big fella Jackson Conway for that hat trick that he had. You can thank Jonathan Vijal with his 2 assistances.
It wasn't goals, it was shots. And why are you making weird words up again?
Oh, my God.
Because them's the plural, brother. But sometimes you go to the last page of that script and you're completely and totally surprised by the end result. And you go, I didn't anticipate this. This was not what Vince Russo wrote. This was not what Virgil Runnels wrote. This was what old JR and P.S. Michael Hayes wrote on this script.
Why did you slander Michael P.S. Hayes and
not
Jim Ross?
slandering.
I don't think Jim Ross wrote scripts. What has happened to you tonight?
And then you look at that last page and you're shocked and you sit there and go, man, it was a fantastic week. And that's what happened this time around. Because PS stands for pretty sexy. And that's what we get for being the only guy on the
turn
plus
into
side.
Michael P.S. Hayes? What is going on?
Oh, my God.
This is one of those bad house shows where the guy's been drinking in the back and they somehow give him a mic and he comes out rambling about nonsense.
This This is Jeff Hardy at the TNA show.
Yes.
Guys, when I get a hold of that,
When that swerve goes the other way from the other different direction that the swerve was going to begin with.
yeah, what is it? Where are we at again? The CFW Memphis Mid-South title. Gonna take you out back, pal. And your pretty lady over there.
Then some random person comes running in with a steel chair to knock that person out of their misery.
Hashtag plus sign.
Yeah,
That's all
somewhere
that matters.
backstage, Bischoff is somebody get a chair and just go in this, please.
Yeah, somebody go take care of him. Yes,
Cut
you might
my
have to
music.
actually pin him for real. Take care of him. Somebody, please.
Plus side, baby. That's all that matters. Kept it from being a carryover of zeros.
Good grief.
That's amazing. That is fantastic.
It's something. Amazing isn't the word that I typically use in this situation, but you know.
That almost makes it amazing because it's almost like anti. It's almost like anti.
It's an anti-promo.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No. That's like calling Jesus Ferreira a false nine. No, he's not a false nine. That was not an anti-promo. That was just absolute and utter ridiculousness. That's all that was. It was not an
Could you
anti-promo.
imagine what Jurgen Klinsmann would have done with Jesus Ferreira?
He would have played him
Roberto
as a
Beppe?
six
Would
or
have
a
had him as a
goalkeeper.
right back.
He would have played him as a goalkeeper. He
Yes.
would have displaced Tim Howard from the team and played Jesus Ferreira as a goalkeeper. And probably tried to sub in another goalkeeper during the game, and they would have told him he couldn't do it. Good job, Clinzy.
Wow.
Anyway,
This is amazing.
it's not. It's not at all. All right, so John, you get a veto, and you get 2 picks. Everybody else gets a pick, and the Twitch pitch has Sunday. That's where it stands. DM Tim, PS in wrestling parlance, does mean pretty sexy if you're Michael Hayes. I don't know when John morphed into Michael Hayes in the midst of that promo, but yes, that is what it stands for in Michael P.S. Hayes. That is true. He's a spectacular mullet. He still does.
Oh, he still does.
I don't know if it's real now.
Speaking of spectacular mullets, the Steiners are going into the Hall of Fame, and we were reminded of Scott Steiner before he decided to look like a 13th century crusader when he had the mullet.
I was reminded of Scott Steiner during that promo from John because it made about as much sense as a Scott Steiner.
Steiner
promo.
math?
Yes.
Steiner math. One of the most
Steiner
underrated
logic.
promos ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
If anyone ever wants to know, gee golly willikers, why are you into pro wrestling? Just YouTube Steiner math and sit back and watch the insanity. That's
Well,
why.
Well,
Or
Steiner
watch
was
Kevin
so
Egan in a toga if you want
Yes.
Kevin Patrick in a toga when he
Kevin
has to wear
Patrick.
a toga for things. Yeah.
Kevin
Well,
Patrick.
Steiner was so off and weird about it that you weren't sure. There were times you weren't sure if he was really just that insane and dumb,
Right.
or if it was just so perfectly played. It was to that extent.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty sure, Jarrett. I was pretty sure pretty quickly.
When he went to like 32 and a third % chance, I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, he's going off the rails.
Yeah, I think I got where this one's
He
going.
lost his numbers.
Oh,
no,
Just a reminder, Kennesaw.
bitty shot.
Just a reminder, the Kennesaw State has produced more WWE champions than they have NFL players so far.
that's
Or
fine.
I'm sorry, NXT champions.
Braun Breaker.
Worst
Yes.
name ever.
Terrible
God, that's a
name.
terrible name.
The son of a Steiner, and you went with that. No wonder
Embrace.
you're- no wonder
He,
you're
he
having
didn't.
pride,
He didn't
Vince.
go with that. Yeah, that was.
I'm blaming Vince.
He was
Let me
getting
tell you what your name's gonna be, son. Well, he knows I'm a Steiner. Your name is Braun. Look at that, Braun
But we're going to spell it different.
Breaker.
Isn't Braun spelled like Braun?
AWN.
So you had
that
Braun
is the word
Strowman.
Braun,
It was
yes,
Braun, right?
Okay,
And then you
yeah.
had Braun.
Yeah, I don't think
Bron.
I don't know if they were going with like brawn, like the
Paper
word
towel.
brawn.
No, but they need to.
It wasn't brawny.
He needs to do Steiner math.
Yeah.
That's the
He
only.
probably will. He'll probably reclaim his Steiner heritage. At some point.
Hopefully, after the Hall of Fame ceremony, he reclaims his heritage.
We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see. Anyway, we have picks of the week to make. So 2 picks for you, John. You got a veto, and Twitch Bitch, you're on Sunday. We start with Tuesday. all the World Cup qualifiers you can imagine. We've talked about them already. Poland, Sweden, Portugal, North Macedonia. 5 games in South America, 3 that matter. 6 games in Asia, 2 that matter. 5 games in Africa, all of them matter. We are not picking Nations League C from UEFA. No, Cyprus and Estonia. We are not picking that.
Twitch Pitch has their own pick, sir.
That's
They
for
have their
Sunday,
own
though.
pick? That's
Sunday.
for Sunday. They
Yeah.
get one day because if we're waiting on them to come up with things, we're here till Wednesday.
Yeah.
They get Sunday. That's it.
Now, normally.
Sunday. That's all they get.
Let's start with
all they-
Poland, Sweden.
You're going to go with
John out
Poland,
the
Sweden,
gate.
straight out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. Poland, Sweden.
All right. So Poland hosting is at a 138. 90-minute draw is plus 200. The Swedes on the road plus 225. Sweden played on Thursday. Poland played a friendly on Thursday. Charlotte did not say that Karol Swiderski should go and everything would be fine. They said he'd maybe be out, and everybody now is saying that it was an ish storm on Twitter, but nobody's mad at each other. Okay, fine. They might need him. The last time these teams played was in the Euros. Sweden won 3-2 in England. European Championship qualification before that, they hadn't played since 2003, so throw those out. 3-2 over the summer. Poland drew with Scotland 1-1 in their friendly. They lost their last qualifier to Hungary 2-1, but they were unbeaten in qualifying in September and October before that. Sweden, not quite as good. They had to go to extra time to beat the Czech Republic. They lost to Spain in the last day of qualifying. That's what put them into this. They lost 2-0 at Georgia, not in Athens, not over there. It was a little bit further away. They lost 2-0 in that one, which was shocking. They lost 2-1 at Greece in September. 3 losses in September, October, November put them in the playoff for Sweden. But Zlatan's back and ready to go. So, Jarrett, since you didn't pick and you finished last by default last week, what are you picking?
Man, you're salty.
You didn't pick.
I'm sorry, what were the numbers again?
Poland plus 138, draws plus 200, Sweden is plus 225.
Give me Sweden on Zlatan Magic.
Okay.
He just wills them to one more run.
I'm going with a 90-minute draw. Nick?
Poland.
John?
90-minute draw.
Damn it, I wasn't ready for that straight out of the gate.
No.
Is anybody surprised about what happened?
No.
Okay. Wednesday, we have CONCACAF games. We have USL Championship, New Mexico and Oakland. We have Copa Argentina with Defensa y Justicia and Sacachispas. We got Colombia with Millonarios and Junior. We got Solomon Islands and New Zealand. Oceania, final playoff to get to the playoff against CONCACAF. The A-League is in action on Wednesday.
Oh, man.
You got a bunch of state leagues going on in Brazil with finals or playoffs or whatever. It's all kinds of madness. That's pretty much it. We got the Ghanaian Premier League. We've picked from there before.
Serie D, Nick.
Always an interesting one.
Who do we have in Serie D?
We have Ashanti Gold in Ghana.
Everybody.
I didn't know Ashanti had a team. Ashanti Gold and Real Tamale United.
All the groups in Serie D, Nick. They are wall.
We got Serie C as well. Campobasso is on the road at Picerno.
And Palermo's hosting Toronto.
Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
We have Liga de Expansión in Mexico, Celaya and Zacatecas, Pumas Tabasco, and Correcaminos. That's one of my favorites. And one of my other favorites is Rayados.
Give me that.
It's
Defensa y
Rayados.
Justicia.
You want Defensa y Justicia and Sacachispas?
There you go.
Sacachispas. What level are they in? Let's see. Are they third division or are they second? They are third, I believe.
Oh God. Chose poorly.
Primera B.
Yeah, they're in the Primera Nacional. Actually, that's second division. So they're in the second, I think. Katie wants Ashanti and tamales. I'm down to watch that. Okay, I have no odds on this, and it is Copa Argentina, which means they play it at a neutral site, so you don't have a home field here.
I've got them from the composite.
Okay, these don't count. These are not official, but these are for information purposes only.
7:10 Eastern Time kick. Defensa is a minus 455 in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal. 90-minute draw is a plus 430. Sacachispas plus 938.
Okay. I'm up first. Let's see if these teams have ever played. Nope, don't have it. Sacachispas comes in unbeaten since February 19th.
Wow.
5 of the 6 games are draws, though. Just saying. Defensa comes in unbeaten since February 10th in the higher division, and 4 of the 6 games are wins. I'm going Defensa. I'm not overcomplicating this one.
No.
Nick.
Defensa y Justicia.
John.
Defensa.
Jarrett.
Defense.
Okay. That might be a wash. All right. Thursday. This is where it's going to get a little weird. So we have Copa de la Liga in Argentina, Colón versus Aldosivi. We have Costa Rican action, Herediano and Pérez Zeledon. We got Sporting San Jose and San Carlos. We got Cartagena, Jicaral. We have UEFA Women's Champions League, Wolfsburg and Arsenal. We have Chile, Colo-Colo, and Unión. We have a couple of the Brazilian state leagues going. We got the Ghana Premier League, the Accra Lions hosting the Bibiani Gold Stars.
Ricky.
We have, yeah, exactly, Ricky. I mean, come on. It's not even like a difficult one. It's Defensa against the lower division team. Like, dumb.
I didn't. Yeah, that was my bust for the pick. We can aim Venom accordingly.
That's okay. We have the Indonesian Liga 1. I don't know if we've ever picked from the Indonesian Liga 1. We have, for example, Persik Kediri hosting Bali United FC. We got Serie C with Turis hosting Virtus Francavilla.
Yeah, that's the team I saw play Catania.
Virtus?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. We got Tepatitlan, who we know a little bit from the Liga de Expansión. They are hosting the reconstituted Morelia in Liga de Expansión. I'm going to take that. Tepatitlan and Morelia in Second Division Mexico on Thursday. I know everybody's excited. There's really not a lot of options, so just deal with it. To get up to speed on these... Let's see. In the table, Morelia is in 5th out of 17. They are 6-4-3. Tepatitlan is 4-5-4. They are in 11th, which 12 of the 17 teams get into the playoffs in some form or fashion. Yeah, talk smack about MLS, Mexico, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Last time they played was in October, and it was a 2-2 draw. Before that, it was a 2-2 draw. Before that, in May, Tepatitlan won at home. They're at home here. They won 1-0. Before that, in April of 2021, it was a 2-2 draw.
So
3 2-2 draws out of their last 4 matchups between these two teams. Morelia comes in after losing 2 in a row. They lost at home to Leones Negros over the weekend. They lost at Atlante 2-0 before that. Now, they'd been on a little bit of a run before that, 5 unbeaten with 3 wins. Tepatitlan comes in 3 games unbeaten, 2 wins out of that. They beat Atlante 2-1. They drew with Venados on the road, and they beat Pumas Tabasco, Pumas' reserve team, 1-0. They lost to Leones Negros as well, 2-1 back in early March. So it is Nick's pick
I've got
Fifth.
numbers for reference if you need them.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I don't have them.
Tepatitlan is a plus 141 in the composite. Your draw is a plus 229, and Morelia is a plus 160.
Tepatitlan.
Nick goes with Tepatitlan. Los Alteños. John, what are you picking?
As do I. I will be right back.
Jarrett?
Draw.
Jarrett picks the draw. I'm going Tepatitlan as well. No love for Morelia on this show. John will learn at some point he can turn his video off.
No, he won't.
How about we just do that? All right.
Hey, Grandpa!
And it's
Yeah, we
perfect
can start
timing
Florida
because
State down here. Thank God.
it's perfect timing. We are on Friday. So, Union Berlin hosting Cologne. We have
Friday.
We have Atlético San Luis and Mazatlan. We have
Just powered right
Deportivo
through them
La
like Mike
Equidad.
Allstott.
We have Deportivo La Equidad hosting Deportivo Cali. We have Charleston Battery hosting the Las Vegas Lights. We got not really anything great in Argentina.
You know what? Give me that. Give me Charleston and the Lights. John's not here to shoot it down, and I want to see some weird shit.
All right.
Charleston is going to be down a defender. They looked like crap the other night anyway because they can't play with the ball and they can't defend. And Las Vegas Lights played one of the most meth-fueled games you've ever seen in your life.
It was. That's true. Okay. So the Lights come in 2-2. Charleston is 1-2 in the early USL season.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Someone mentioned the Open Cup replay. Motown and Westchester. Let's do
yes,
that. I was
you
wrong.
want that instead?
I was wrong. Let's do that.
That has
No,
been
we
rescheduled.
came back to it. We came back to it.
That has been rescheduled for April 1st, yes, because they were allowed by the fourth official to do a temporary concussion sub, even though it doesn't exist. John can come back into the show now. You can't turn your video off, John. You know that, right?
Oh, I can? Oh, so that's what that means. Okay, got it.
We didn't miss. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Nope.
Okay.
See, I'm trying to be a man of the people.
Yeah, you are. Let me make sure I have the hosts here in this one and have it correct. Believe it is Motown who is hosting. I think they're just replaying it at Motown again, but I want to make sure. Yes, it's at Montclair State. So FC Motown is hosting Westchester United in a replay of an epic game in the Open Cup. Again, because I'll give you the official explanation from the announcement from U.S. Soccer. Man, there was a lot of stupid stuff that happened in that game.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of really stupid stuff. Where did they make their announcement? Come on, U.S. Soccer. Your Twitter account is not helping me.
Or did Open Cup...
No, that would not be an official announcement from the cup.us. It was an official press release. Here we go. Okay. Public statement by the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup Adjudication and Discipline Panel.
Public
Statement.
Adjudication and discipline panel sounds like a futuristic dystopian, like fascist regime.
You are a thought criminal.
You may not be far.
So if you remember, Motown had a 2-goal lead, and they ended up giving up 2 goals. Westchester took it to extra time. They got a third. They won. But Motown filed a protest. Grounds for the protest were that a Westchester United SC player re-entered the match after being substituted off. This fact was not disputed by any parties. The adjudication and discipline panel also considered the fact that the fourth official was the party that presented the possibility a player re-entering the match after exiting via a concussion substitution card. Based on this finding, it is the conclusion of the panel that Westchester United was permitted by the referee to field an illegal substitute.
The conclusion of the panel.
The result of the March 22nd FC Motown and Westchester United first round match, they forgot match in their statement. They probably need to get better statement writers, has been voided. FC Motown and Westchester United are to replay this first round Open Cup match at the first possible date and no later than Sunday, April 3rd. They have chosen Friday, April 1st. It is not an April Fool's joke. It's U.S. Open Cup on a Friday night. I have no odds for this. I can just tell you what happened last time. That's all I got.
Yep, I don't either.
What you eating there, John?
It was just announced. He does learn how to mute, but he eats with the video on instead.
That is true. It is the standard Subway sub that we have on Monday nights.
I am really
Big space. Hold on, screenshot that. There we go. Got it. Saved it.
Why do you want anything standard involving Subway? Why?
No, what I'm saying is that it is
no. Why? No. There's no.
He's asking why you've got a cry for help going on.
What makes you stop? It's like Blimpie and Subway. Why are you stopping at either one of those places?
Yeah, you just keep going.
That
is like desperation mode.
I was shopping. It was convenient, and I brought it home.
There are other places you can get submarine sandwiches.
John, I know where you live. There's great places right around where you live, man. What in God's name are you doing?
Yeah, he doesn't live in a food desert. That's to be fair.
No.
Like, at least, I'm in Ackworth. It gets a little weird. You can find some good stuff, but, man, Ackworth's not the cater, I'm here to tell you.
Have a great night at work, man. Have a great night at work. Thanks for coming through.
See you, Gustavo. Gracias por todo.
Gustavo, man.
Adios, Gustavo. All the foolishness. Still going.
Blimpie and Subway, man.
I choose to believe that Gustavo goes to work, and then people ask him, what'd you do? He's like, I just watched 4 Americans. I don't know how to describe what they did.
Yeah.
No, he describes it in words that I don't know yet in Spanish. And they're all probably very accurate and probably slightly offensive, but very accurate. We got to make a pick on this game. Motown hosting Westchester United. Westchester won last time. It was a 90-minute draw last time, even with the illegal substitution.
Couldn't even get that done.
What?
Couldn't even get a result, even with an illegal substitute, allegedly.
No, there's no allegedly. It's been adjudicated that it was illegal.
Adjudicated.
The panel. That
adjudication and discipline panel.
They didn't write in complete sentences in their statement, but anyway.
Comrade, you have been found guilty of crimes.
So, John, you pick first. What you got?
Let's see. So, what happened last time? 90-minute draw. It's going to happen. It's going to go long again. Trust me. It's going to. It was tied.
Trust you about what? What are you picking?
90-minute draw.
Was anybody surprised about what happened?
No.
No.
Absolutely. No one.
Jarrett, pick something.
Oh, my God. Westchester. I don't know. I just want to get out of here. Not out of the show, just out of this moment. I feel like I'm circling an event horizon.
I'm picking Motown. I think they're going to take advantage of the fourth official being an idiot and breaking out a purple substitution card that didn't exist and allowed them to re-enter or something. So I think Motown wins. Nick?
This is what they call the old West movies a reckoning. This isn't just vengeance, it's a reckoning.
A reckoning.
So get me Motown.
All right. We'll see if odds pop up on that. John, you have to pick from Saturday.
That is true.
You got Liverpool, Watford. You got Burnley, Manchester City. You got Chelsea, Brentford. You got Wolves and Villa. You got Manchester United and Leicester.
You notice how Jason went right to England? He knows his audience.
I mean, why even waste the time, Jarrett? I could just go on to the championship if you want.
Oh,
you do have MLS.
Oh, League Two's out there, buddy.
I know. You got MLS. You got Chicago, Dallas. You got Cincinnati, Montreal. You got Toronto and NYC. Columbus, Nashville is a very interesting game.
Let's go with San Jose hosting Austin.
San Jose hosting Austin. That is a drunk game right there.
What time is that game?
7:30. It's not even after.
Yeah, it's a 7:30 game. San Jose is not even going for the after dark vibe. That's maybe a bad choice. 7:30 Eastern time kick. San Jose is a plus 140. Draw is plus 250. Austin is plus 180. The juice box purveyors are throwing their hands up on this one.
Yes,
San Jose is actually a favorite. Jarrett, are you picking your Quakes?
No.
What are you picking?
No.
There's two other possibilities. Which one are you taking?
Oh, give me Austin. I'm a believer in Austin.
Okay.
Wow, Listos and Verde for Jarrett.
All right. I am picking the draw.
Look, even though they haven't won every game this year, they've played well. They played well in Portland, the game they lost. They were very unlucky not to beat Seattle a couple weeks ago. Give me Austin.
I am picking the draw. Nick, what you got?
Where is this being played again?
San Jose, California. PayPal Park.
California, right by the airport. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is San Jose's manager still there?
He is still there. He did not leave out of anger.
Yes.
All right. Get me San Jose Hausen.
Oh boy.
I was just waiting for you to say, "Get me pictures of Spider-Man," and you disappointed me.
That's right. Get me pictures of Spider-Man.
John, what you got?
I'll go with San Jose. I figure it's another 1-goal loss for Austin.
Okay. Twitch pitch, you are up with Sunday. Waiting on Captain Ricky Ricardo to take the lead here. You could go Tottenham Newcastle. You could go Barcelona Sevilla. Ooh, that's a good one for Sunday at 3 o'clock. You could go Augsburg and Wolfsburg, the Pepe Brooks derby. Mönchengladbach and Mainz.
You could do Atalanta and Napoli.
I'm getting there. That was next. Atalanta, Napoli, Juventus, and Inter. In France, you got PSG and Lorient. You've got Lyon and Angers. No, nothing really good there. You got Rangers and Celtic in a league match. Don't they have a cup match coming up too, Jared?
Yes, they do.
And then they've got another league match coming up after the stupid split.
Oh my God! Ricky Ricardo has chosen the nuclear option.
He has went with the North Macedonian Prva Liga.
Wow.
He has picked.
Regalnika Steep and Renova.
Yeah, I might have to check on. You say it's done. I need official seconds and thirds, Ricky.
Turner and Will.
We have to check your work.
Wow.
All I see from Ricky is I miss Quiznos.
On Ricky Ricardo.
We have to check Ricky's work. Well, John's vetoing it anyway, so it's out.
See, here's the thing, though, man. Like,
I'm gonna try to figure out how to pronounce that stuff, but I'm glad I don't have
Ricky
to. I'm
just
sure
played
there's another game.
I know John didn't watch Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm pretty sure Ricky just played a trap card.
I think he did. Ricky, you got another pick to make, or your Twitch pitch minions can help you. I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
Bang, bang.
You could go. I don't think you're going to be banging because I think it's going to get worse.
He's gonna.
Portland, LA Galaxy is possible. You
It's
could
the
go
Lutberg Flying Squirrels versus the Dienst trash
Werder
cans.
Bremen and Sandhausen.
There you go, Ricky. Do it.
You could go. Looks like he's going for the same league. Good job, John. Thank you. You've got the CAF Confederations Cup. If you want to go into Africa, the Royal Leopards are hosting Saoura. The Andorran Second Division. No, that's already been awarded. I don't know what this team did. Genlai has already lost the game for Sunday. Extremeña has already got a 3-0 win in the Andorran Second Division, according to SofaScore.
That'll teach you. Extremeña is the name?
It is. I'm trying. This is how it looks. Extreme Inya is how it's written out.
Extreme Inya.
UEEXTREME. Extreme NYA.
I'm just thinking very calming Delta commercials from back in the day.
They won 3-0. You got the Bosnian First Division. I'm not even going to try to pronounce
Look at
those.
that.
Got the Mos Eisley Nerf Herders versus Tatooine.
Okay.
Skinjija.
What have you come up with, Ricky? Skindija? All right.
Well done, Ricky.
That's not Boric. It has to be like Borish.
Skindija 79.
Wow. Ricky has taken us to school. He says the first game that he chose was a 5 and 6 on even points.
Yeah.
What a shame, John.
I know, Katie, I did kind of like Extreme Enya, by the way, but that game's already been forfeited, so that we can't even pick it. Boric is the other one. All right. FK Boric, I am assuming. Yes. Okay. let's see what we got about these two teams. How do we pronounce this? Let's see if we can learn how to pronounce these properly and not be English here. Sorry to English announcers who actually do try to pronounce it properly, but some of you don't. So, this is what Google is telling us to say. I don't think you'll hear it. Skundia.
Oh.
Skundia.
India 79.
Skundia. It's KF Skundia.
Okay.
Wow.
Is that correct, Ricky? I want to make sure I'm not mixing up Skundia teams.
Ricky's informing us that essentially we performed
No, we didn't. No,
like
there's
an
no we.
episode of The Outer Limits, where the aliens come in peace, and then the humans are stupid and try to nuke them, and instead it results in the destruction of humanity.
No we.
That's
I had
where we
nothing
are
to
now.
do with that. Nothing at all to do.
John is the
I
one.
knew what was coming.
John was commanding the troops in this Ender's game.
That's never a good thing.
Time for a tactical launch, boys.
Never a good thing at all. Okay, so we do have the right one. Okay,
I
cool.
was George C. Scott there, I guess.
There you go.
So FK Skundia has played in Champions League qualifying rounds, Europa League qualifying rounds. They actually had a matchup with Milan in 2017-18, and Milan won 7-0 on aggregate. They had a matchup with Tottenham in the Europa League qualifying third round in 2020 and lost 3-1. So, they've had a few things. They beat Sheriff in Champions League qualifying second round in 2018, and then Salzburg knocked them out. So they've been around a minute at least, and they've done some things. They are known as the Red and Blacks. They have a crest that has red and black stripes in it. They've got a very generic clip art soccer ball in their crest. They were founded in 1979, so they are 42 years old. They were founded by ethnic Albanians from Tetovo. The purpose for forming the club was that the Albanians throughout Yugoslavia could unite in supporting a club for Albanians. The Yugoslavian officials frowned upon this, and it didn't go very well for a while. When they were reestablished in the Macedonian League, they had to work their way up from the 4th division to the 3rd, to the 2nd, to the 1st. They got to the first major championship in 2011 is when they won their first time around. Now, then a couple of years later, they had financial difficulties. A bunch of people left. The supporters began a social media campaign requesting Ecolog to take over the club. Xherdan Shaqiri joined the campaign with the supporters. The father of Ecolog founder and chairman, Nazif Destani, announced that Ecolog International would take charge of the club. They brought in a bunch of people right before the transfer window closed. And they ended up having a pretty good season. So they almost went out of business not that long ago, but Xherdan Shaqiri had a hand in helping them. Okay, that's Shakinia. Borek, we don't have as much. But they were founded in 1919. We know that much. They're red and white. We don't have a nickname for them. They bounced around a little bit. They haven't had any very famous players. They won the Macedonian Republic League in 1989. They won the second division in 2019. That's what got them back to the first division. This is not a team that has been at the top for very long. So that's your two teams. Great.
Ricky's bringing the heat today, man.
Deep dive.
That's what we have to do when we
he's
throw North Macedonia.
He's saying, are there any current North Macedonian internationals on either one of these squads?
I do not. Well,
Wow.
let's look.
Ricky.
Let me see if these are accurate. You don't really have. You have a Mexican player for Borek?
Wow.
Antonio Novello? How
Hey,
did
man.
that happen? You have an American player for Borek? Danilo Radjan.
Hey.
He's our new favorite. What is his deal?
Uh-oh.
I was 90% sure you were going to say it was mixed disc group.
No, that also wouldn't surprise me.
Wow.
No, Danilo Radjan played for the New York Cosmos in the NASL. He went to Cleveland State and played at Akron as well. He played in the USL League 2 for the West Virginia Chaos. And then he was drafted by the Houston Dynamo, didn't sign, played for the Cosmos, played in the NPSL for their second team. And then he went to Serbia and played for Partizan and got loaned out. And then he went to Borek in August. So we have an American with Borek. Yeah, we have an American for Borek. We have a Brazilian with Kenya. Let's see if we have any national team guys. Give me 1 second on that. That's going to take a different check here. Let's see if we can figure this out one way or another. What's the easiest way? Can anybody pull North Macedonia's roster quickly? Never mind. I got it.
I refuse.
John did this. John did it. We could have had a nice game in the other one. Now we have a really weird one.
Actually, Nick's is probably Geo-Lock.
Yeah.
His Italian blood will not actually let him pull up the North Macedonian roster. His Sicilian blood, more importantly.
We actually have no North Macedonian national team players from either one of these teams. There is only one North Macedonian player on their roster that plays in North Macedonia. A backup goalkeeper. That's it. You got Belgium, you got Hungary, you got...
John, you're muted, by the way.
Serbia. John, the mute button. Try
it. I was eating.
But were you trying to talk?
I saw a couple of quips.
I was chewing.
Okay, fair enough.
Trying to be fair.
That's cool. You have had a player recently called up from Shkindija. Well, I can't even pronounce
it.
Shkindija. You've had 3 players recently called up from them. So, but they're not in this current group. That answers Ricky Ricardo's question. That's your deep dive in the North Macedonian League. Thanks, John. And Ricky, thanks. I don't have odds on these. John, do you have odds?
I do not have odds, but I do have the last 5 matchups.
I've got that. So Shkindija won last time at Borek. They won last time at home, both by 3-0.
Yep.
They won at home before that 3-1. They won on the road 2-0. They have dominated Borek. Shkindija has won their last 2 in a row. They lost before that. They drew before that. They won 2 before that. Decent form. Borek has lost 5 in a row. Picking Shkindija.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Nope.
This is not that hard. Who is going to go out on a limb and pick something weird in this game?
Not it.
Jared?
Shkindija! Let's do it.
You're going to do it? No.
I have no idea what I'm doing. And by this point of the week, I will have been eliminated in extremely embarrassing fashion, or this will be my victory lap. There's really not a middle ground.
No, it's a 34-point difference in the table right now. Borek has only won 3 of 24, and they have 13 points on the season, where Shkindija has won 13 out of 24 and have 47 points.
Sorry, Danilo Rajan. I don't think it's going to go well for you.
Nope.
Nick, what are you picking?
Shkindija.
Okay. So we have 2 games that are going to be a wash this week. It appears, unless the Twitch pitch gets drunk.
I mean, I can do the scared money don't make money pick. That's fine.
But that's a little too...
That's a little too
I wouldn't have done... I can't do it on either one of the games that are a wash. I maybe would have went 90-minute draw in that Copa Argentina game because those can get really weird and stupid sometimes. But I don't think FK Borek is going to pull off something here. Don't see it. Ricky, I hope you're happy. Nobody else is. Sorry.
Good night, Deborah.
I also can't believe there's an American playing in North Macedonia.
That's awesome.
Hey,
I
good
did not
for
see
him.
Yep.
Good for it. If you
I did
found
not see
your way,
the West
Found a
Virginia
home and
chaos
found a
to the
paycheck.
New York Cosmos to Partizan to FK Borek.
Hey.
Not
Was
the
he
normal
part of that
pathway.
team that won the cup? That won in Atlanta?
No. He was 2017. He was in college.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what year we were talking
No.
Cosmos and ASL.
No. He was there on the last one, but he didn't play in an ASL. He played for the reserve team in the NPSL.
We could have had the Fiorentina Empoli derby. on Sunday. We could
We
have
could
had
have
it.
had a lot of things on Sunday, Nick.
Yes.
Didn't we almost have it
But
all?
that's what happens. We do need a prop bet. So since we are in North Macedonia, we will have a
Just
prop
twisting the
bet.
knife. Jesus.
Hey, we're here.
How many vital organs can you hit on one sweep?
We're here. We're going all in. There's 5 games on Sunday in North Macedonia. Let me make sure I can actually give you the proper response to this one real quick.
Over under on goals.
No, we're not doing it over under. I want to see if I can do this. Yes, I can. Number of cards in the 5 games in the North Macedonian League on Sunday. Cards. So if you get 2 yellows and a red, it's 2 cards. You're not getting 3.
Okay.
Because that doesn't make any sense.
And we're going cards for the league on that day.
Cards for 5 games in the North Macedonian.
I mean, I don't know. Does North Macedonia play this secretly really fun flowing style, or are they get it out wide and sling it into the mixer and see what the hell happens?
Let's take a look.
Nick, it's going to be like this.
So looking back at the 19th, which was the last Sunday in the league, they had 5 games. One game had 5 cards.
Ooh, WrestleMania prop. That would make
Next one had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. Next one had 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. Next one had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. It's a little bit higher than your average.
Ricky says he has 6 games, 5 outside of the one we picked.
I've only got 5 listed on SofaScore. In the first division on the 3rd on Sunday, I've got Akademia Pandev and Skopje. I've got Bregalnica Steep and Renova. I've got Shkupi and Tikves Kavadarci. I've got Shkinya and Borek, and I've got I believe it is Macedonia George Petrov in Macedonia, and FK Pelister Pitola. I've got 5 games, Ricky.
Nothing beats Extreme Inya.
Nothing beats Extreme Inya. You know what? Since we have a confusion about the number of games, let's stay away from that because that could get weird. So let's do a WrestleMania prop bet. It's 2 days of WrestleMania. What are we doing? What's the prop bet then, Nick? What can we do a prop bet on with WrestleMania that we can get into with this?
Title changes over the weekend?
I have to see how many title matches there are.
So you should have SmackDown tag team titles, Universal title. But the Universal title in the standard heavyweight is a unification bout.
Correct. But that's going to be an automatic title change because it's new.
Raw Women's, SmackDown Tag, SmackDown Women's, title versus title, Women's Tag Team, Raw Tag Team is 6. So it looks like, is it 6 total?
And did you get the USO tag team, the SmackDown tag team?
Yep, SmackDown Tag Team.
So we're at 6 now.
I think we're at 6.
3, 4, 5. I've got 6. Now they can always add another, which that's when it can get really crazy. Yeah, I've got 6 listed right now and on the card as it stands right this minute. I don't think they've added anything tonight on Raw.
Okay.
So 6 matches. How many title changes? There's going to be one. Because it's going to be a unification match. The champion is in all the others. It's not something to determine a new champion. So there could be a change in all the others. So 6, how many title changes? And you got to get it exactly right since it's a small number this time, not closest. You have to get it right. If nobody gets it right, nobody gets it. Nick, how many title changes?
Get me 5, and that includes the 24/7 title.
Oh, that's the wild card.
Very nice.
Jarrett. What was that noise?
He was turning his engine over to try to think.
Sometimes you just got to get out there and get the old Packard fired up there, John.
You ain't kidding, brother. It's a Red Barchetta moment for you.
Woo, man. Oh, man, I got to get the Gremlin fired up later. Go out and just rebuild the engine. Three title changes.
John?
Well, that was my number, so I'll go one more and go 4.
4.
You can go 3 too.
Yeah, there can be multiple winners.
We can share it.
All right, so yeah, it would.
We can cut a promo together next week.
Get it.
Oh, there you go.
So what are you doing, John?
I'll go back to 3.
You're going to 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
you
looking
got
forward to my 50-50 promo.
your WrestleMania preview in terms of title matches. Anyway, you've got Becky Lynch defending against Bianca Belair. I could see her retaining. You've got the Usos defending against Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. I'm going Usos. That's 2 defending. Charlotte Flair defending against Ronda Rousey. I could see Ronda Rousey getting the title, so that's 1 change for me.
Right.
Women's Tag Team Championship. Queen Zelina and Carmella defending against Sasha Banks and Naomi. Also defending against Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Also defending against Natalya and Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, see, in a Texas Tornado tag match like that, you got to come up.
I'm going title change there, so that's 2.
Yeah. Ripley's 2
Yeah,
over.
Ripley and Morgan, I think, get it.
Way over.
Raw Tag Team, RK Bro defending against the Street Profits and the Alpha Academy. I'm going title change there. That's 3.
And I go with a Randy Orton heel turn after that.
Whatever. And then it's Lesnar and Reigns, and it's a new winner because it's a unified. So I'm going 4. That is my number. And there's your WrestleMania preview for the weekend. You also have Edge and AJ Styles on Sunday night.
Edge is going dark heel.
I like it. You got Pat McAfee wrestling on Sunday night. You got Johnny Knoxville wrestling on Sunday night.
You figure Cody's going to come in and wrestle Seth either on Sunday or be
Saturday
the surprise Monday.
Seth is set for Saturday night. Okay. And Mr. McMahon will announce his opponent on the night of the event.
Of course. So that means it's Cody.
You don't have Bad Bunny, which is always a shame. I'd like to see Bad Bunny leave his tour to come wrestle at WrestleMania, but not this year.
Hey, John, you want a plot twist?
Yeah.
Imagine if it's Cody and Dustin.
That's not
popping up in the tag team.
No.
Dustin has said
Dustin said he's staying at home.
You're in fantasy
AEW. Yeah. Dustin is doing too much of the Lord's work in the women's division at AEW right now.
So there's your WrestleMania preview. You can watch it on Peacock. You can watch Kevin Patrick on Peacock.
So I'm waiting for the Kevin Patrick and Omos match. That's what I'm waiting for.
You want Kevin Patrick to wrestle? Why do you not like Kevin Patrick?
Oh, I'm thinking Kevin Patrick fights dirty and gets the win.
Almost is like 7'5"
and stiffest worker they have.
Yeah, no. You can fight dirty all you want, and he could break Kevin in half with one hand. Like, no, don't have Kevin die.
I'm not having Kevin die. I'm thinking that the brain power of Kevin Patrick gets a win.
Nah.
Jared, I've asked you this question before. John, are you high?
The problem is when you asked me that, I ended up backing into being right. We don't want John to back into being right.
No, we don't want Kevin Patrick to be in a physical confrontation with Omos. Nobody.
Omos, for those who are uninitiated, is like 7. Was he like? I mean, he's like an honest 7 foot, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he's legit 7'3", 400 pounds.
Yeah,
and he
imagine
doesn't look
someone working like Goldberg, but bigger, working stiff like Goldberg, but bigger.
Oh my God,
he's insane. He played basketball at South Florida. 7'3", 400 pounds. Trained by Kevin Nash. He would kill Kevin Patrick. So we don't want Kevin Patrick to die.
No, we don't want that.
Notoriously stiff worker, Kevin Nash.
Yeah. We can see his handiwork in this one.
I will always suggest anyone go look at the highlights of Ron Breaker when he was playing as the A-back at Kennesaw State and see what kind of athlete he was.
Oh, man.
Jesus, that dude was like splitting safeties on dives.
Mm-hmm.
He was athletic as hell. At least he can be athletic. This dude's 7 feet tall and is like it's like a piece of petrified wood.
John Nelson won the picks of the week last week and cut a fairly in-depth, lengthy promo.
Yes, he did.
No, there was no depth to it. It was
Would
incoherent.
we call it uncomfortable?
Yes, we would.
I'm not going to go uncomfortable. I would say it wasn't like a Mankiewicz, bit of monologue there, but it was very good.
It was the Steiner math of promos here at STH.
Close.
Incoherent.
Steiner math of promos here for SOT.
Yeah, and luckily there was no math involved, or it would have been even more scary. But it is that time of the show.
Oh, God.
Nick's favorite segment of the week. Where in the world is Nicholas Bentner?
In the toilet.
Well timed, you got it right to the audience participation in the drop.
Well, Nicholas Bentner is not, I think, making the news this week. Maybe his show's off. But he is being mentioned in an article, and this is kind of where Nicholas Bentner
Yes, Turner. This is. I had to sit through the Italy game, and now I have to listen to this mess.
Mm-hmm. So Jonas Wind is a player who just moved from FC Copenhagen to Wolfsburg. National team striker for Denmark, made the move in January. He settled down well at Wolfsburg. Quote from the article from Danish Sport.tv2. He already seems to be more well-liked in Wolfsburg than when the German club most recently had a Danish striker in the form of Nicholas Bentner. On the one hand, Bentner often ended up on the bench. And on the other hand, he made himself unpopular after driving around in a Mercedes instead of a car from the club's main sponsor, Volkswagen.
Whoops.
Good job.
Tone deaf.
Bentner was also fined for his photo flirtation with the car brand, so banned in Wolfsburg. Okay. Jonas Wind says, I then asked a little into Bentner down there, and they told a little about him. When I came to the club, the sports director also mentioned that they have had some Danish players and that Lord Bentner, as they call him, was the latest. You could say I'm a little different type than him. We cannot be compared off the field. That is Jonas Wind. He's correct. He said, I have not made the same mistake with the car yet. I'm driving in a people carrier. He hasn't gotten his car yet. So he is not driving anything other than a Volkswagen. He's not going to be stupid. He's saying, don't compare me to Nicholas Bentner.
Don't be Bentner.
I like this guy. I like this guy already. He's actually playing in Wolfsburg. He's started in all 7 games since making the move. He is not Nicholas Bentner on or off the field.
Since we're in the Bentner thing,
good job, Jonas.
I'm issuing the first Nicholas Bentner award to Ezequiel Barco for trying to slide into Wanda Nara's DMs.
Did we ever find out when that happened? Because that could have been old. Her Instagram account got hacked. And people went through the DMs. She didn't respond to any of them.
It's been. She was still married to Morrow at that time.
Oh no, I know. Like, I mean, well, yes, but we know how that's gone.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
old Zeke over there, like, hey.
I would like to know when that happened. Yes. Just because.
Wanda, you still talking to him? What's happening?
I mean, it's a valid question. The way that thing was going.
Holla.
You know?
Hit me back.
You know, seriously.
Yes, I do hate Nicholas Bentner because he is regurgitated clown poop, and I am not. This guy he's a grade 1 chuckle bloom that I'm self-muting here.
We got more, Nick.
Oh, round 2.
So remember in a previous episode of Where in the World is Nicholas Bentner, he had signed a advertising deal with an online gaming provider. Come on! ! Well, that gaming provider, come on, has now gotten criticism for using Nicholas Bentner in their commercials. The Gaming Advertising Board criticizes the online gaming provider's use of Nicholas Bentner's name and pictures. They are saying
because it's a nobody. You could put
Well-
any other Danish person on the cover. They'd be like, I guess that's Steve. I don't know.
No, this is what the gaming board has to say. They can't. Code of Conduct 8.2 says that they can't use persons who may be perceived by the player as authorities who have special insight into the game. They said, "Are you ready for the European Championships?" Like Bentner, click here to get your EC sub. Is what the ad
Right.
said. He's not ready for the European.
I really was
Championship.
hoping this was just going to be like Nicholas Bentner had his own PokerStars.net saga.
Well, it gets a little weird because the gaming advertising board is also not happy with the fact that the text was followed by a picture where Nicholas Bentner shows the edge of his underpants bearing the name of the gaming provider. So it's on like the label.
Oh, so it's like the boxers that have the advertising on the shorts, except it's like
Yes, you reacted very strongly there, John. Do you want to tell us what you were picturing?
No, just I was picturing like the Calvin Klein ad where you just kind of
No, we don't know. That's why we're asking.
That's why I have no idea what you were picturing because you got really worked up about it.
But I mean, I had two visuals going through my head, like the boxers sponsored by Golden Palace, and it's on their tuchus. And then the Calvin Klein ad where you just kind of see the rim and you see Calvin Klein.
He's doing discount Marky Mark ads now.
No,
He's
he
doing
already
like Dollar Tree Marky Mark ads.
Dollar Tree online gambling, but he's already
Come
done
on, man.
this.
He's more of a Five Below kind of guy.
In 2012, he
Spencer.
scored a goal at the European Championships, and he pulled his shorts down a little bit and had Paddy Power underpants on.
Oh, yeah.
He got in trouble for that.
So it's a redo.
This dude.
I'm going to read the caption for the picture of that, where he pulled his shorts down a little bit, and he's kind of pointing at the Paddy Power on it. The caption in this Danish tabloid says, "This is not the first time that Nicholas Bentner's collaboration with an online gaming provider has received attention. In 2012, he celebrated a goal at the European Championships with hanging ass and underpants with the betting company Paddy Power on."
with hanging ass.
It's translated from Danish, and that's what they said.
Hey, now I know a Danish translation expression. Hanging ass. All right.
That's what they said.
We could be talking about so many different things, and instead we're talking about Nicholas
Hanging
Bentner's. He's not even washed up. Like he's
Washed
beyond washed.
Hey, that Paddy Power deal worked pretty good for him. He got 1.8 million kroner
But that's like
for doing it,
$42.
and he got fined 750,000. So
I'm about to
still
say,
came out
but
good.
go look up the value of the kroner, and it's different.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying he came out positive on it. He got 1.8 million, and he got
fined
fined 750,000. So he still worked out.
You still 1.1.
Yeah.
It still wasn't enough to get his car out of the
Cool,
impound.
you can go,
No, he didn't get his
you
Danish
can go to
driver's
the
license.
AMC.
No.
Cool.
Yeah, he can go see a movie, but he's gonna have to have somebody drop him off because he doesn't have a car right now. and he
Sean,
can't drive.
who's he going to coach?
And he's going to have to smuggle in some candy from
I
the
wouldn't
dollar
trust
store
a
that
team
he's
of
getting sponsorship
lobotomized
from.
gerbils with Nicholas Bentner. I'm not going to touch like
Lobotomized
people.
Gerbils FC or
Lobotomized Gerbil FC, led by Nicholas Bentner. Where is the manager? He's hiding in the toilet. I mean, come on. Like, I wouldn't trust humans with him.
Did you know that there are 8 players in world football who have been nicknamed Lord?
No.
I didn't know there were any others.
Yeah.
Martin Braithwaite, according to a website in Indonesia, has been nicknamed Lord because of his windy appearance. I have no idea what that translates
Windy
from.
appearance?
Windy, like the windy city of Chicago.
Does he have like magnificent hair or something?
He really doesn't have hair.
I was going to say.
So, Dejan Lovren is known as Lord. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Zlatan is known as Lord.
Yeah, well, Lord Zlatan. That makes
He
sense.
just says that, I think,
Yeah.
sometimes.
I am
calls
Lord
himself that.
Zlatan.
No,
Yeah. It's
people call
self-
Kepa, his name is Lord. I didn't know that. This Indonesian site's crazy.
Lord
I think they're just
Spillage.
making stuff
Yep.
up.
Lord
Jesse Lingard?
I've
He's
never
not
heard
known as
anyone
Lord.
refer to Zlatan as Lord.
Except
Nobody's-
maybe Zlatan.
Nobody's called Jesse Lingard Lord.
He
I've
puts
never
his
heard
name
that.
above that. Okay. He's called himself God before.
Yeah, he calls himself a lot
Yes,
of
so that might be your
Okay,
translation.
so that
for this
might be the
Indonesian
translation.
site. Yeah.
I think Lord might have in Indonesia different names. It might mean different things because they got Harry Maguire and they got Loris Karius and they've got Jesse Lingard and they're like talking trash
Harry
about
Maguire,
these
Lord
guys.
Yellow Card.
You're like, yeah, I think Lord might mean something different in Indonesia.
Lord of sloppy recycling. That's Nicholas Bentner.
That's about right.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the latest. And where in the world is Nicholas Bentner?
Where in the world is?
You're gonna get us in trouble, John. You already infringe on other copyrights.
It was less than 7 seconds. It was a sample. We're okay.
Good Lord.
Definitely wasn't a sample. I don't know that much.
Parody. We're safe. Luther Campbell.
There you go.
Luther
John
Campbell
knows what he's doing.
Luther Campbell v. Roy Orbison estate. Parody.
Okay. I guess.
Good Lord. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's going to do it for us. Jarrett, final words from you.
Enjoy the week. Leave Swiderski alone.
Yes.
And, man, it feels weird that we're almost back to MLS full bore again. And this window has been weird for me as watching the U.S. And we went over it during the morning of, hey, man, I was wrong about the way Greg handled this. It's okay to be wrong about it, and it's okay to enjoy the ride because it can be a lot worse, as the first hour of the show apparently broke down for everybody. That you can be pissy and miserable and have a team that's doing well, or you can be pissy and miserable and have a team that's sitting home watching the World Cup, because we did that 4 years ago. It sucked. I don't want to do it again.
It was hanging ass.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
It was hanging ass.
That is
I don't
absolutely
want
true.
to do it again. So enjoy it. I don't give a damn if they lose 4-0 to Costa Rica. By the way, Costa Rica's probably going to rest guys because they've got a qualifier. They don't want that to get weird, even if
Costa Rica versus New Zealand.
Oh, baby. At 1:30 in the morning.
I know that's a game you feel good about for Costa Rica, but I still don't want to go into it missing a bunch of guys with yellow card accumulation. Bottom line, man, it's okay to disagree with the manager about things, but if you're just gonna be miserable about it and pissy about every little damn thing under the sun, then I promise you're gonna run out of people who give a shit and who will put up with you, and you're just gonna get muted, and not even on the internet. People are just gonna tune you out if you got nothing positive to contribute to the conversation. If you just want to be that miserable. That's Mike Conti have to do with this.
He agrees.
Yeah, that was a fantastic promo. That's why.
I didn't give you this.
That's usually for me.
Speaking of which, final words, John.
John, go ahead. Jesus.
I mean, he said it. I'm just rolling with it.
Remember, big day tomorrow for a lot of viewing of the beautiful game. It starts early. It ends late. It's all in the pacing and the preparation to make sure that when you start watching Japan and Vietnam at 6:35 in the morning, and you go all the way through the South American qualifiers, which will end 15 hours later, all in the pacing and the preparation. So it's a long day. Be prepared for the multi-screen experience that it's going to be. Just make sure that you take everything into account to pace yourself through the day so you can enjoy all of it.
So this is going to be a quick reaction kind of word association game here. If you are drinking during the two Asian World Cup qualifiers that matter, what are you drinking, Jarrett?
Sake.
That's kind of where I was too. Anything different, Nick?
Campari and orange juice.
Oh, okay, very nice. So then you move into the African World Cup qualifiers. What are you drinking? I'm drinking the Tusker beer.
There you go.
I know that much.
Yeah.
Well played. Yep, well played.
Probably there.
Mm-hmm.
And South America, you've got Peru, you've got Chile, you've got Colombia in big games. What you drinking?
Wouldn't it be frenetic Coke at that point?
That's Argentine. They're good. They might drink it before they play in Ecuador. Doesn't really matter. Messi might be drunk and play and still score 2 goals.
Yeah, really?
Isn't it a pisco sour from Peru? I'm not a sour person, so I don't drink that, but I think it's a pisco sour.
Ooh, Ooh, sours are
Sapporo
delicious.
would be one, Ricky.
I will take all sour recommendations.
Sean wants to go Jaeger. You might need that for Poland, Sweden. I know it's not quite exactly from the same place.
Oof.
I don't know what the North Macedonians drink.
For Poland, give me. I actually had dinner once with a friend of mine. His girlfriend was Polish, and we had potato vodka. I'm just gonna go with like real Polish potato vodka, and she cut it with apple juice. It was
Apple juice and potato vodka?
That vodka's the one
am
I
not
cannot
joking.
do. I can drink.
I can't
just
do
about anything
tequila.
else. I cannot drink vodka.
I can do.
tequila.
I've never done
Tequila's where
potato
tequila's where I
vodka.
tap out.
Yeah, I don't do tequila. I don't do tequila at all.
It's
Potato
sour,
vodka
man.
and
I'm gonna
apple
have to look
juice.
this up.
I'm fascinated.
I'm not
Jared.
joking. It was.
Oh,
Sounds
I
like
know
a
you're
highway
not
to hell.
joking.
Um,
That's just I've never heard of
That's
that.
too bizarre. I mean, there's definitely something to it. What do the Portuguese drink? Don't they have like a Madeira wine or something? Port?
Port, which is made in Porto,
Well, that would make sense.
Well, there you go.
and I love port. Port's a good dessert wine. You don't want to go too heavy on it, but if you're kind of winding things down, man, a little glass of port will go a long way to just making you happy.
Look at Jarrett Smith. We've found a wheelhouse for him.
Oh yeah.
So in Macedonia, we have to have rakia liquor. It is a brandy made from fermented fruit.
Okay.
It is a way of life, if you will, according to the Macedonians.
Is
So there you
that
go.
is that like the Macedonian version of grappa?
I guess.
Let me tell you something. There's a little bit of no if Macedonia wins, I would not lose my mind. I have made my peace with.
I mean, you
with
might as
what
well
is
just go for it at this point. Just,
I mean, yeah,
I'd like
I
to
hope
see
they
them
go-
knock Portugal out.
Yeah, I at this point I want North Macedonia to go full throttle. Have fun.
I'm good for
And
it.
then I want a separate camera on Goran Pandev as he's watching.
Yes.
all that happen.
Yes.
Rakia. It is they have yellow and white grape rakia.
Yeah. So it's like grappa. It's like after they make wine, they have the leftover rinds and everything, and then that ferments more, and then that gets you. That's why people are like, "Oh, it's a grappa's a wine," and
It's not.
No.
Oh no, they don't mess around with their beers either in Macedonia. It says just glancing at stuff. It says they're all rather high in alcohol.
There you go.
Like the most popular one is an 11% beer.
That's a don't make any plans beer.
Yeah, that'll mess you up.
Stay at home, brother.
This is like that whole thing though, where you're young and you're like, oh, you mean like a honey wine, like a mead? That sounds fun. I promise it's not.
No.
I promise you're gonna take it lightly, and it's gonna walk up on you like Will Smith.
Oh my God! No, I had so one of my what was it 2017? I had a birthday party before an Atlanta United game at the parking lot right by the connector, and I got a hold of some gosh, what is it? It's like Donk Smead and Viking
You didn't
blood.
make it to the
Viking
underground
blood.
tunnel,
Oh,
did
is
you?
it the Viking mead they make in Marietta?
No, this stuff is called Viking blood, and it's like imported from Denmark, and it was like I had like a whole bottle of it, and I'm sitting there pounding it, and of course it was like, oh, you're in a parking lot, it's baking, and the minute I went to go step, it was like the damn moon landing. It was just like.
Isn't this
You
why they
missed-
drink
you
mead in
missed
like
the paper.
castles and caves and stuff? You don't
Yeah.
do it in like hot sun.
No.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
I got a story about that doesn't involve me. So
You have a story
About
about
drink-
what?
about drinking in the hot sun.
Okay, do you want to take it? Go ahead.
I can tell this in 35 seconds, give or take.
Go for it.
Um,
Go for it.
I might be divorced by the end of this story.
Oh,
before I married
great.
my wife, we were dragged to a 311 show one year, and she proceeded to on a hot day. It was like a 311, so it was March 11th. They were playing here.
Yeah.
It was a hot March day. She proceeded to on that hot day start drinking a little bit of wine to try and cool off, and ended up drinking an entire bottle of cheap Riesling before the show by herself.
Oh no.
That's not good.
K.O.
Where was the show?
Oh, this was at Lakewood. It was
Was she
miserable.
asleep in the lawn?
No, I took her. She stayed for a little bit, and then she was sitting on the grass, teetering back and forth. And I just a friend of ours helped me get her to the car. I took her home and just let her sleep it off.
Yep.
You have people who are doing like chalk outlines at that point.
Oh yeah. No, I remember in high school seeing Aerosmith out on the lawn because you had like the old folks who don't party as much at that point going to see Aerosmith.
It's true.
Oh yeah, there's just like bodies strewn all over the lawn.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while they try to get up and like dance and yell.
And
and
just kind of list and
Back
fall and
You always have the super fair skinned guy with the ultimate dad gut who lost his shirt about halfway through. Crazy, and then is like planed out on the grass and turns like a nice shade of neon pink. He's like fuchsia.
Yeah, the undercarriage really got taken out. Yeah.
Like, oh man.
And he doesn't realize it until like the next day or a day and a half later. He's like, how did this happen?
Yeah, guy looks like he spent about 35 minutes next to Reactor 4. It's Chernobyl. Brother, that ain't the look.
All right, before anybody else gets in trouble with their stories, Nick, send us home.
So the less trash you talk on social media, the less mess you have to clean up.
Yep.
That's one of those important things to keep in mind. It's always and forever Italy. Don't get it twisted. I'm here after booted out, wearing the kit. I'm always going to be wearing this. It doesn't matter. It's always happening because let me tell you something. World Cup in the words of the great Dr. Claw.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
I'm uncomfortable with how good that was.
Bye and stuff, I guess. You didn't officially send us out.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah.
You're just gonna leave it at that?
Yep.
All right, I guess.
The hanging promo.
That's okay.
Do we need to do like Dr. Claw's cat? Like, how do we end this?
Do it, Jarrett.
Do we just walk away?
That'll do it. Yep.
Mad Cat.
All my days. Ha ha ha.